Um,
Where does it say that?
in the
Oh
chat.
wow! I just barely saw that. I barely saw that. I barely saw it right now. I don't know. I guess my or you had it. You could see the newest stuff. I still had you guys. I still showing you were looking for our pants, and all these messages just came in.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. You need to go online now. It's time.
I am.
Oh, you're already on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good morning, everybody, and afternoon to those that are not here yet. Good
Good
morning,
morning, guys.
Scotto.
Ooh, who do we got
Good
here? We got
morning.
Scotto.
Scotto is here this morning, and we have news now. Enemy, who's he was here, but he may have gone to get his clothes changed. Danny was here earlier. I'm sure she's going to be coming back very shortly.
I hope so.
And everybody now knows that you're doing this stream naked because I had to tell the people.
What?
Nobody knows where I am. They don't know where you are. As far as they're concerned, we may be sitting in the same room. See,
um,
use the imagination, my friend. Use the imagination.
I like to leave
That
things
would.
to the imagination.
We are just waiting for some more people to come in in general, today's subject is going to be mental health. And I've chosen that subject because one, I specialize in that subject. And two, some of you guys that were in the morning show yesterday, the Rash, may have noticed that I was chatting away and then all of a sudden I disappeared. It's due to certain things that we were seeing with that. Uh, uh, the way the attack happened and what we saw after that kind of made me very angry and upset. Hence why I needed some time out. Cue the Willy Wonka song. I will let Jerry sing that one. Jerry is very good at singing these songs than I am. Go on then, Jerry. You
Wait,
start
wait.
singing.
Which Willy Wonka song? I mean, there's a lot of songs in that movie, but which one? Which one specifically?
Just pick
You,
any.
you just any?
Mm-hmm.
I can't do just any. I have to. I have to be in the moment. Oh, what
Like,
is he talking about? The Oompa Loompa song? Which one are you talking about?
Scotto, you've been challenged now to pick a song that he's going to sing. Pick a, pick a difficult one that he can't sing. But then what you can do is you can sing it in Mexican Spanish, and we will all say "Bravo, bravo." How's that?
That's that's Italian. That's not Spanish.
Yeah, yeah. Come with me, and you will be. There you go. I'm in a world of
Oh,
pure imagination.
what? Who's this? When's that song come out? Oh, okay, I know what you're saying. Okay, that's it. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
Going, keep going.
Well, I don't have the rest of the lyrics. Scotto hasn't put the rest of the lyrics there. Can't get.
Right. Who else is here apart from Scotto? Well, at least Scotto loved your singing, and that's good because that means that Scotto is awake and not falling asleep with your singing. Because I have a really good friend of mine. I have a very good friend of mine, and she's in a band of her own. And her
Oh,
band members would not accept that when she starts to sing, I actually get an epileptic seizure, which is
what?
very rare.
Why? How
Because
is
when
that?
she starts to sing, she hits notes which are high and low notes. So that imbalances my chemicals in my brain. And when my brain can't handle the changes, it just does what I call a reset. Now, you know, the old computers, when they had too much, the memory was used up, it will restart itself. So that's
Uh,
how epilepsy kind of works in the brain. It's the most easiest way of explaining it. What
Wow,
was I saying?
I didn't. No, it's just something like wow, like to think like to have something like that and something as simple as like a person having dramatic note changes could make you go into a seizure. Wow,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. She has a PhD. I mean, you can Google her on YouTube. Her name is
I
Joe
refuse.
as a J-O, and mango as in the fruit mango. And there is another good morning to Out There Associates. Buffer overload. Yeah,
OTA.
yeah. Buffer overload. Yeah, that's another way of looking at it. But Jerry doesn't have that much of knowledge in computing, so I'm trying to make it
And
as
what?
simple as I possibly can.
And what did you say? I don't have
Bu-
knowledge in.
buffer overload. Do you know what that is?
Is that when you do too many weights and you're really buff?
There you go. Very, very close. Good morning to Danny, sorry, not
Yay,
Donny.
Danny!
Danny, good morning to you. And
Hey,
welcome
you
to,
did like his.
but at least I didn't call her the other name that Has used to make a mistake of. But hey ho. Right. We have 4 people in the chat now. So
Yay!
we, I was going to talk about how human brain works
Well,
and
hang on.
how we.
Before
Mhm.
wait, because I got a preference and tell everybody why we're going to talk about the subject that we're going to talk about. Because Mr. P. Barnes got upset last morning, this past morning on Rash because when we were watching the Eli situation where he decided to attack that veteran. Did he say he was in the army? He said he was in the army, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, so when he attacked that veteran, P. Barnes he got upset because he saw how damaged he was and how he was bleeding and everything. And I was telling him that for me it was a very technical thing because I was in a very detective mode when I saw that. Instead of really looking at it like oh this guy just attacked a man, I was really I was so into like disproving the story that Eli was saying that I never really thought about how bad that man was damaged. So
Mhm.
Pete Barnes did, and he got upset about it. So he wants to talk about how that kind of stuff can be sensitive or whatever. He's gonna talk about that. And I just wanted to say, like I didn't really pay attention to it in that way because for me it was like I just wanted to disprove Eli and the way he was saying the story, which I still don't believe went down the way it did. I think that he attacked him or threw something at him with like either his camera or some sort of weapon because I really don't think Eli just punched that man.
No, there was a damage. You know where the screen is for the video camera? With these digital video cameras, you can pull out from the side and you have a little screen. The screen
Yeah.
did get damaged if we were to take his words for it. But the reason I chose mental health was yes, that's something that affected me, but I wanted to talk about it in general. And while
Oh no,
we're
it's fine.
here,
Yeah.
good morning to KTZ. I don't know how to say her name. Sorry if I've totally slaughtered it.
I,
So,
I think she's okay with Katie.
Katie, right. Sorry, Katie. Good morning to you. Welcome to this madness of this morning from LA and kind of from Glasgow as well. I'm from Glasgow. And the reason I am saying this, so we all come in, we get into a situation where our brain is unable to deal with the situation as we face it. It doesn't have to be just ourselves. It could be someone that we may be experiencing or something we may have seen on the television, something we may have heard. Before I go further on, Jim and Jeff, good morning to you. That's my kind of bet. And we also have who do we have? No, that's the only one we have. So yesterday was very difficult for me because I got so angry that I decided to off go offline because I was saying to Jerry earlier that had I stayed on, I would I had forgotten my logic and my diplomacy. Instead, I would have gone into a direct attack. And this, as the saying goes, words are very strong. Once the words are out of your mouth, you can never take them back. So hence why it is more important for us as human beings to stay within the circle of who we really are. Everybody gets angry, everybody gets depressed, all sorts of emotions that we go through. And I'm talking this, my background is in psychology, counseling, and then I started doing NLP, which is neuro linguistical programming. And NLP is the part of my education that really helped me to look from outside the box. Because in psychology and psychiatry, we kind of like we have little boxes and we put people and put labels on them. Whereas
You put people
NLP,
in boxes with labels?
yeah, so that's depression. That's that person has a weight problem. Now, 90% of my clients that I used to see who had weight problem, I found that there were uh, underneath layers of issues. So once I had dealt with those underlying health issues or social issues, the weight loss was never the problem. They automatically start going into what they wanted to achieve.
So you,
And
you, you think usually people who are overweight, not that there isn't, because there are some conditions that are physical, right? Like I've heard on women it's like thyroid problems and stuff like that. It is there are conditions that do cause the weight, right? But you say most of
mhm,
the time it's psychological, where there's some underlying issue that they don't take care of that brings on the weight.
yes, that's right. Hence why I said 90% of my clients. There were other clients, the 10% of them that really had weight as an issue, and I couldn't find anything underlying health issues that could may needed changing. So that's why uh, I'm always looking for where it may have started, and I'm deliberately using the word may because we as humans we have had life experience. Uh, Jameen said mine is social work. So, Jameen, you probably have experienced people coming in to see you or you going up to see people. And social work is another intense job, but very satisfying job. That you watch the whole system that they live within, uh, either be housing or their social setup or their upbringing or where they currently are, and helping them get out of that situation and get them options that are available to them and offering them the tools. Uh, Jamin, what do you mean by I left mine in 2015? I don't know what you mean by that. So I had been thinking about the mental health issues. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that I suffer from depression and I am on medication for my depression. And it's very hard, especially for men, to acknowledge that they have mental health issues. And one thing we commonly hear is the men don't cry. What the research has found is the men actually are more emotional than women are, or because of how we are wired. It's a physical wiring in our brain that makes us men or women. Women can handle pain better than a man can, you know. So that there are other things, right? Katie says that makes so much sense. I think drug addiction probably also have an underlying. Yes, it has. Katie, I agree with you based on my experience. The work I had been doing, which I had to take a little break from, by little mean 3 years now, is I used to work with homeless people that were addicted. The most common drugs that are used in Scotland is heroin, cocaine. Heroin, cocaine has to go hand in hand because heroin brings your emotions really down. So to balance them up, you then need cocaine to balance it out. And then up till 1971, alcohol was never a problem. But after 1971, Glasgow started having a problem with alcohol because the jobs were closed down by the government. So once once you start dealing with their underlying health issues, which includes trying to give them the option of rehab, but it's what you do after the rehab. Because rehab is all good and well, and some people laugh at this, but it makes sense to me. I'm always happy when I go out looking for my friends and I hear that they're in prison. That
Oh,
is the most amazing and great news that I hear. Um,
why? Why?
because
Why is
once,
that?
because when they're in prison, they are getting the help that they need. They're getting detox. They're getting counseling. They're getting the sources that we need. But it's unfortunate when they come out of the prison, they go back into the same environment because that's where all their friends are. That's the only
Well,
people they know.
well, you see
So,
that I think that although I understand where you're coming from. Like saying that it's a good thing that they're away from doing the bad things that they're doing. I don't think necessarily that when you're forced into that rehab, you're gonna take on it the same way you would if you volunteered for it. So I think that although yeah, it's a nice feeling to know that they're away from that bad stuff. It's always there's always like a bit of how would you say skepticism, I guess you could say, that they're going to
mhm,
continue on because you know that they were forced into it. I've yet to see any person who is an addict that doesn't do it without volunteering themselves. Like uh,
mhm,
I've seen people be forced to, and it never
mhm,
turns out that they continue their sobriety because they don't feel
mhm.
like they don't feel like they need it, right? That's the whole point, is that they don't admit to themselves that they have a problem, and that's what it
Mhm.
comes down to. I think if you're gonna
Yeah,
want somebody to get out of that, they have to admit it to themselves.
yeah. That's why I specifically mentioned Scotland because I know more about Scotland because this is where I've been working. So, I mean, people who start taking drugs get to that point where they need relief. And once again, I'll give you my own example. I became homeless back in 2009. Oh, before I go far, we have PEC in the room, and we also have Society Red in the room. So good morning to both of you.
Good morning,
Uh,
welcome.
so when I was homeless, I was dealing with it, and then the first option I had available to me was alcohol, because alcohol is a legal drug, and you have to be 18 to be served. But then came a point where alcohol wasn't enough for me, and I honestly was looking at other options as in something that can numb this pain. I have worked all my life, and all of a sudden, I have no home, I have no place to go, no place to sleep. And having worked all my life, for me to sit down on the ground and put a cup in front of me, I was so ashamed that I put a cup in front for people that could see the cup, but they couldn't see me. And I had my head down because I didn't want to be recognized. This is how bad it was. So in Scotland, they go on to drugs because they want to forget. They want to forget something. But on the other hand, it's also something that we inherit. Which what I mean is that uh, there is a part in our brain, there's a chemical in our brain that allows us to become addicted to things like, drugs or alcohol or other stuff. So my
Well,
friends, once they would
what?
come out of prison or rehab, my job was then to find them a different environment for them to go to so that they still will have new friends, and those friends won't judge them. And that's how they were able to clean themselves up. Yeah, of course, there were a few that cleaned themselves up and they went back on to drugs again. And in those cases, they knew that I loved them no matter what. Because giving up
I mean,
is not easy.
that's a good thing. No, it's not an easy thing. I was about to say that a lot of things you were saying is a lot of the things that people go through. I think if it's not a physical numbness, it's always an emotional numbness, and I think
Yeah,
usually addiction comes with a feeling of wanting not to be in your reality, right? Uh,
yeah, yeah.
it's the part, like I said, it's very difficult to get somebody to not want to do drugs anymore because you live in the you like to live in that world of being numb, being away
Mhm.
from everything that's that's bad, but you're not really away from anything. You're just kind of running, right? You're just running away from everything. You're not really dealing with anything. So that's why
No, you just want to
yeah,
stop thinking. You just want to
yeah,
stop hurting. The,
yeah.
the main word is hurting. Now, Janine Jet put a comment on that. Just, I had to scroll up a little bit. Recovery is the expectation to the rule, not the rule we have meet our clients, where they when where they could expect meet me where I am at. Yeah, and Katie's comment that she had heroin addiction and she's been clean since 2001. So congratulations to you. It's not that easy. I have seen my friends going through that, coming out of it. Few have cleaned up, few have passed away because of overdose, and others have committed suicide. But again, I specialize in dealing with suicide cases, so it's hard afterwards, but it's easy to deal with it at that time because that's how we our brains get programmed when you're doing psychology or you're doing counseling or you're doing NLP. You really have to look at outside the box. You have to acknowledge our own bias. I can't do my job unless I know my biases. And we all believe that we're non-judgmental, but all of us are judgmental. So it's learning where your judgmental are or where you are biased and keeping that in the front of your mind when you're going into this line of work. And before we go any further, Edward is here. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you very much for coming in.
Good
If,
morning.
by the way, anybody in the chat, if you find this subject to be difficult to hear, uh, we won't be offended if you just write up that you want us to change the subject because we'll be more than happy to. It's mental health is not uh, a very easygoing subject. And Scott wrote something about his family that he's lost some of his loved ones uh,
I
to
think
to the addiction.
you know what? Can I say, let me say this real quick, P Barnes.
Please,
I
please.
I I I honestly feel that a lot of us are in similar situations. Uh, as far as like coming back from certain things and having certain tragedies happen to us because I believe a lot of the crowd that is in our community
Hmm.
is very empathetic. We have a tendency to be very empathetic towards the people that we see on screen being harassed by by frauditors, and we usually have
Hmm.
this compassion for them because we don't like to see people suffer. And it's because of our own suffering, it's because of the stuff that we've
Hmm.
been through that we don't like to see that in other people. And so
Hmm.
I think that a lot of the people that we know in this community have been through a lot,
Hmm.
and that's why they have that compassion and caring for people that we see
Of
that
course.
are being
Yeah.
attacked by
Yeah.
fraudsters.
Of course. Edward, he just wrote a message. I used to deal with PTSD veterans when I lived in Virginia. Now, I don't know if you remember Wrangler Frederick Reaper put up this
Hmm.
little clip where the officer was crying. He was crying and he was keep saying, "Why? Why did he make me do it? Why did he make me do it?" So he was chasing this person. He gave that person every opportunity to put the gun down, and the officer was left with no choice but he had to fire. And up till that point, I never realized that I actually did fire once. I had totally forgotten about that. I didn't kill the enemy, but I did fire once. It PTSD was always there, but I learned to deal with it and to accept it, and it doesn't bother me because I always kept it in front of my mind that it was one life or the other. But lucky for me that that's the only bullet I ever fired, and I'm glad that I'm able to deal with that. My father was in the army and he struggled with PTSD. And the old school, they never accept it. They never accept that they have a problem. Well, the same thing. I mean, I have worked with British soldiers who been in the war in Afghanistan and Iraq. A couple of them were obviously picked up, and what they went through, it was hard to listen to them. And then I had to work with them to help them to get to that point where they were able to uh, stabilize themselves enough to be back with their partner. And with regards to having lost few friends to suicide, yeah, that is a very tough one. I had to
Well,
go for a special
suicide is never
training.
easy.
Yeah, so I had to go for a special training in suicide prevention training, uh, and that helped me understand how to be able to deal with that. I mean, it had two parts to it. One, trying to help them uh, to see another way for them not to make that decision. And then there's the other way of once they have made that decision and you have got the news, then how to help yourself. But that doesn't always work. Sometimes we need help from other people to help us through the passing of a friend or a family member. And all my
Oh yeah,
friends
no,
on the streets, they're my brothers and sisters. I've never seen them as
yeah,
my clients. Go on.
yeah, no. And I think we should be careful saying um people who turn off their own lights because I think it's we would have to like you have to it's a TOS violation if you don't say certain things, it's whatever.
Okay.
So this is this uh I don't know, we find a creative way to say it. uh
Right.
yeah, it's very difficult to deal with those things because that act is something that when somebody wants to do it, it's like you want to do everything possible to get them out of that, but it's so hard, like because
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen it where like somebody who we thought was going to be fine. Like he did everything to make us like get away from him, like in the sense that we were worried about him. And so
Hmm.
he did everything
Hmm.
to make sure that we weren't gonna be able to see that he was gonna do something to himself. The minute we let our guard down, he went to go do it. And so that's why
Yeah.
that that
Yeah.
that, that act is so hard to deal with psychologically. You know, like it takes a toll on you, not only emotionally, but psychologically, because you're like, you know, what is it? Why? You know, like you want to put the blame on yourself and stuff like that, but it's like you know that
Mhm.
that was that person's choice.
Yeah, but it's never your fault because
No,
you have done something. So you can't blame yourself. A person makes a decision. Yes, we have two choices. We can either talk them out of it, or they go for it. And trying to talk people out of it. Now, here's a secret that I can offer all of you that are listening, or the people that would listen to this stream. If you are in a situation where there seems to be a possibility, the first sign that you are able to save the person is if the person talks to you. So that's a first sign that there is a possibility that there might be a chance. Second thing is that you need to take their mind off what the current situation is or what their current reasoning is, and you have to find something else that part there might be a part of their life. Either could be friends, could be family, could be anything. And then you have to try and get their mind off the current situation and then go towards what makes them happy. And only offer help that you will go with them for help if you're capable of doing. Never lie to them. Lying is the worst thing you can ever do. So if you read up on these things, there's a lot of good stuff on Google that you can read up. But it's a 50-50. If you have done
yeah,
something and they have made the decision, then it's not your fault because you tried. You're not going to be able to save everyone. And by the way, I tried it 3 times. Well, after the third time, when I failed, I said, if I can't get this right, what's the point of trying? Zeus,
well,
good morning to you. Nobody did. We're just talking about addiction, and we're talking about people who can go in either for
well,
help, don't get help,
well, let
or
me
make the most extreme decision. Cool.
let me get a minute here, Pew. Hi, Zeus. Thanks for stopping by. I think this is the first time you come to my live. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I've had you here before, but thank you for coming. And I usually, more specifically, like weekends in the morning, I don't really have anything like planned. These are like my my open panel, open anything to anything type of lives. I really like to just have open discussions about anything. Sometimes we'll talk about like the crazy moments that happened during the week for the fathers, or any other news that's going on around in the community. Or sometimes we'll do something special, like we'll talk to Katie Zed, and talk about like true crime. I just like to keep an open mind, and be willing to talk about anything. And Pete Barnes wanted to talk a little bit about mental health because he felt upset because he saw the latest with Eli, how he got into a fight with that veteran, and he messed up his face, and it got Pete Barnes got he got out of sorts, so he wanted to talk about that and how mental health, he works with it and how it affects people.
Edward, he says that he learned how to drink in the military. It was my professor in college who taught me how to drink because you can start drinking here at the age of 18. Oh, by the way, Smithy, I'm really sorry I did not say good morning to you. Uh, I was just so into what I was talking about that I did not realize. So as it's a it's an amazing subject to talk about as long as we're willing to talk about and be open about it. And I don't think I've ever been this open, have I, Jerry?
Well, at least not with your emotions. I think you've told us before that you work with psychology, But I don't think
Mhm.
you've been this open with your emotions, no.
No, I mean, and I share it because it's it's a subject which needs to be discussed more than what our government does for us. I mean, American mental health. I was watching a documentary how much money they have taken out of mental health and start putting it elsewhere, and it's the same thing in the UK. The mental health service we used to have back in the 90s and early 2000 is not available anymore because government has taken the money out of that. Uh, Jameen said, I got sober at the age of 19. That's a really, really good success. That is a really good success. Not everybody's capable of doing that. I mean, in my case, I smoke and I don't think I can quit smoking. Well, to be honest, I don't want to quit smoking.
Oh, yeah,
Right?
that would be the best way to look at it, though. I would say even though you know you're engaging in behavior that is not favorable to you, at least you're willing to you know to be okay with it, because what else are you gonna do? You either try to stop the addiction, or you at least accept that it is a problem.
Hmm. Yeah, smoking is. I have noticed that, but I don't want to. Don't want to quit. So as long as I don't want to quit, I may try many different things, but I don't think I ever will. Drank 30 years now is 420 24/7. I don't know what 420 is. 24/7, I can understand. I
420 is smoking weed.
Oh, right, 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 right. Yeah, see, we don't have the weed is still illegal in the UK. Not so much in Netherlands. You can actually have places where you can get the cookies, you can smoke in there, and any other product that's made from the weed is available for you to use. Weed is something, again, another funny fact for you, Jerry. Smoking weed gives me seizures as well.
What?
Yeah, it relaxes my brain so much that I end up in a seizure. I
Wow.
told
I don't. That's something you got. Maybe we should be talking about epilepsy at this point, because I didn't know that you were so susceptible to seizures like that.
yeah, yeah, I have two different types of seizures. One is grand mal, which is where your brain shuts down, you fall down, and then some people like go up like a fish. In my case, it's I go stiff. So uh, yeah, it normally lasts about 2 minutes, but it takes about 15 minutes for brain to start functioning again. And I have another seizure, which doesn't actually have a name. The closest name is Jackson, but Jackson is only a few seconds. Mine can last up to 40 minutes, but gladly, I've not had one of those for quite a while because I'm
That's
on
good.
medications for that. In that seizure, only the right side of my body starts involuntary shake. The left is fine. It's just the right one. And here's the best
Oof.
part: to help me get out of that seizure, I'm awake. I can listen to you. You may be talking in a normal tone. What I hear is you're talking fast, but all you
Mm,
can do is tell me jokes. I won't remember
really?
any of them. Yeah, I won't remember any of them. But what it does is turns one side of my brain start working more than the other. So the left side of the brain starts to slow down because the right one is working very, very hard, and that actually helps, and it stops.
You got Dang,
I'm
that's crazy.
I'm full of fun, man. I have lived an
I
amazing
see that.
life. I've lived an amazing life. I would not change anything of my life. Right? Janine has just said, "Hey, Byron, feelings are not facts. They just are there. Is no right or wrong way to feel." Yeah, totally agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. Yeah, because here's something else that I would love to share. Something goes wrong, or you make a decision which turns out to have a negative reaction. It's not that you made the wrong decision. You always make the right decision based on the information that's available to you.
Hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense to people in the chat or yourself, Jerry.
It makes sense to me. You're kind of roboting there, but yeah, it makes sense to me. You're doing the best with the things that you got. So you may not, even though like you don't have the proper training, or say like you don't have all the information about certain situations. You do the best with what you got. So if you're trying to help somebody, the whole point is that you're trying to help them. And
Mhm.
yeah, I get what you mean by that. But it's uh, Jamin said it all. Like there's really no one way to really like to handle people with their emotions. You just hope that being honest and willing to accept their vulnerability and be as vulnerable as they are at the moment that they need you. Like it really comes down to that. And if you can touch somebody, then
Yeah,
they can meet you at a certain place where you guys get out of the situation together. I think that's mostly what people look for. When it gets really bad is when you feel like there's nobody out there that understands you in the things that you're going through.
yeah. Let me simplify that for you. You know, when you go for a job interview,
Hmm.
you finish your job interview, you think it went really well, and then you go home and you say, "Darn, I wish I have said that to that question. I wish I have said that and not this."
Yeah.
Uh, that's the most easiest example I can give you. When you went for the interview, you did your best based on the information you had, the question you were asked, the best information you had in your brain. You provided the answer. So that doesn't mean to say when you go home and say, "Oh, I could have done this better. I could have done that better." You did what you did based on what you had in your brain at that time. And Smithy has come up with his favorite comment: "We don't care." Absolutely love that comment. FU and "we don't care." Absolutely love those comments. Go on, Jerry,
What's up?
say something.
Well, well, you're doing fine.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you got everything off of your chest now, or
Oh no, no,
you want to talk more?
no, no, no. I can talk. I can talk and carry on talking, but I love putting you on the spot because I know
Oh
that
no, that's
that's one
fine.
thing. That's one thing that you really hate is when I put you on the spot. Say, right, your time to talk for the next 5 minutes.
Oh no, it's not. It doesn't. I don't hate it. It's fine. This is my life. I kind of like want the attention. It's okay.
Mhm.
No, no, it's just that I'm letting you, I'm letting you talk about your situation because, like you said, you were upset, and I felt like uh, talk
Right.
about it, talk about how you feel, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's gonna help you, like to deal with whatever you were dealing with as far as that whole thing about with Eli because it was something like I said I was looking at it so technically and I forget sometimes that those things are like very shocking to people and stuff like that. Not everybody sees things like that
Mhm.
often, or even if they do, it's not just that they don't see them. It's just like the egregiousness of somebody hurting or attacking somebody
Mhm.
like for no reason. It can get to
Mhm.
you. I absolutely get that.
Jameen put a comment in. P bars the second. People aren't looking to be fixed. They want to be heard, learn to listen, and to listen to learn. Right. I I understand where you're coming from, Jameen, but here's something I will offer you. We can't change the world and we can't change people. But what we can do is we can give them something to think about. But they will only going to think about it when the time is right for them. So whenever I meet people in the bar, in the bus, and meet strangers. Glasgow is a very strange country for or city for quite a lot of people. We say hello to everyone, people we know and people we don't know. We smile. We always smile at each other, and sometimes just saying good morning to someone can make their day. So you share something, and you never know when they might need it, and they will think about it when the time is right for them. And Scotto is my kind of man. He says, "Grill him, P. Barnes, grill him, good old Jerry."
Oh, it's fine. Well,
So
is it is Katie still in the house, or did she go somewhere else?
we'll see. Katie, if you're here, say hello. I would have said clap your hands, but I don't think I will be able to see her hand clapping. That would just not going to work. Smithy, are you asking for a link uh, for this stream? Man, I love gummies, and I have to stay away from gummies because if I get a bag, it goes within like minutes. Yeah, I'm really bad with that.
Hey, Miss Mandy.
Good morning, Miss Mandy. Good to have you this lovely morning. Hopefully, lovely for you guys because you probably have the sun out. It's dark, cloudy here, which is fairly normal for any time of the year. We get some sun occasionally, but when we get it, we enjoy it.
Yeah, you know what? We as humans biologically we need to have sun, huh? Like
Oh yeah,
it's a thing. Like we actually have to go out into the sun.
yeah, yeah. When we have sun, I always make a point of going out. Uh, most of the time, I mean, come July is when we're gonna get some proper sun. I mean, we don't do Fahrenheit, we do Celsius. So our best weather can go up to 27 degrees Celsius. So that is roughly in the, I would roughly say in the late 70s, maybe early 80s. But I mean, anything that's over 56 Fahrenheit, we're happy. We don't wear a jacket. We walk around in t-shirts and shorts, which is our kind of sun. So when I go to the US, man, I can't handle the heat up there. Cannot handle the heat. Sunlight, and I don't get along. Well, Scott, in that case, come along to Scotland. You would miss sun after a little while. Yes, Jameen, yes, we have 2 seasons in Scotland, and we can have what four seasons in one day. What you might find interesting is that sometimes I have one bedroom apartment. I could be looking outside my living room window and it will be sunny. And if I go into my bedroom and look out of the window, it might be snowing. So that does
What?
happen. Yeah. So where I live, my apartment, my living room window, I can actually see the city. So I can look at a certain part of the city would be it'd be pissing down raining, and my area will be just fine. So yeah, yeah, we're known for our weird weather. So Jameen has worked and stayed not far from me. Well, Janine, which isn't that far from Glasgow. It's just outside Glasgow, but it's still considered as part of Glasgow, but it's not. It's a different town of its own.
Hey, little Chihuahua.
Good morning to Tiny's mommy.
Tiny was all over the shorts yesterday, huh? I was nonstop getting updates on Tiny yesterday.
But Tiny's been busy. But what Tiny hasn't done, it hasn't done an audit in a while. So I think it's about time Tiny should go out for an audit. Maybe to a pet shop. I think he can do that without getting arrested. Post office. He can go anywhere and not get arrested.
Well, I would think if he's a Chihuahua, why doesn't he go to a dog shelter?
Yeah, you can. All you need to do is put a little camera on his collar, and he can go anywhere, audit any place, and never get in trouble. I mean, like I told you, I'm full of ideas. Most
What
of
do we
them
got
don't
here?
work or undoable, but that's not my problem. My job is to give ideas. That's it. So where's your man, little Chihuahua, big world? Is your man working today, or is he resting today? What's Danny saying, Jerry?
Wow. Well, uh, LA Southgate is really close to me, Danny. I actually used to work at the UP yard on in Commerce.
Ooh, so you had a license that if you worked in the commerce.
Oh no, that's a city. But I guess I know. I guess that city would drive Southsets out of their mind.
Yes, little Chihuahua, big world. You are absolutely right. You really need to go pro on it, and Tiny will break all the records. Any record being made by any frauditors, he will break the record, and he will get away with everything. So
Prime drivers are idiots. Are those guys that drive in prime numbers? What's a prime driver?
I'm gonna guess here that it's office hours. That's what we call prime drivers. That's like the office hours. Uh,
So
yeah, they can
those
be
are
a bit of a
cops.
pain. No, no, no. People that are going to work, and then when people are coming back from work. So when you're going to work or you're coming back from work, if you're using train in the UK, you have a different
Oh
price.
yeah,
You pay
Amazon
more
Prime.
for
That's right.
train, and then you pay less for off peak. I just seen Highway Star is on his way home. Well, tell him to hurry up because I can't talk for the whole day.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I can, but I don't want to bore these people. Listen, I used to run conferences for 5 hours, and talking is very important, and making sure that people don't fall asleep. So I used to take some toys with me, and toys will be on the main table. People can come in, pick up whatever toys they want to play with. And you were surprised, the people that had squishy toys, they seem to have better concentration. So
Squishy toys.
yeah, yeah, the stress balls and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, we call it squishy toys here. So the people would concentrate better. So we break every hour for 15 minutes because our brain can only take so much. So coffee in the morning, then an hour, and then you go in. So I had to do a basic structure of what the company wanted. And then the first 15 minutes before the conference will start, I will talk to different people, try and work out what their needs are, and then put them into on that day, whatever the conference was. Then
Mhm.
then I'll go through that so that everybody got something out of it.
I'm
What
sorry,
is
you
it,
came in now on that
Eastern?
one.
Yeah. Uh, Scotto says I'm not boring. Well, not yet. I can easily make everybody bored.
Why would you
Uh,
want to do that? Well, if like I said, if you're okay and if like if you feel like you got everything that you needed off your chest, and
yeah,
um,
yeah.
we'll ask. We got to give the people what they want. What you
What do
guys
you
want to
want?
talk
What
about
you
now?
really, really? What do you want? What you really, really want? You wanna. Zigga zigga za.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you want a Fanta. Wanna Fanta? Don't you wanna Fanta?
No, Fanta. When I was a teenager, I used to drink Fanta. Now I drink iron brew, diet iron brew.
Hey, Richard, thanks for coming back. What was going on in front of the trolls? Were you watching yesterday's live, or were you watching a new episode?
I think it means Formula One.
Oh, that says F1. Oh, okay, I see that.
Mm.
It looked like a T from where I was looking at it.
Yeah. Well, Richard has got a very good point. All the world wants Fanta.
Wanna Fanta? Don't you wanna Fanta?
I was meant to ask you.
Yeah.
Silence Boy, he says dur a lot. He
Door?
says a sentence and says dur. What does that mean?
Oh,
What does that word
when he
mean?
says duh, he says
Hmm.
duh. He's living in the '90s. He's like duh. You remember in the '90s people used to say that all the time? Like if you said
Like
like a
Homer
like
Simpson.
a huh?
Homer
No, no, no,
Simpson.
not like no,
Oh,
no, 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 like no, no, not like Homer Simpson. Homer Simpson was a dope. His was more like he was expressing like anger towards something that he got wrong, so he would say dough. No,
ah,
he's saying duh, like you know how well, if you said something that was obvious, like say um I don't know fathers are stupid, and then you say duh, like yeah, I already know that, like
ah,
that's what it means.
right. One of the things that Irish use a lot is ach, as in I don't
Uh,
care. No. You know what? I don't like the way things are going. Ach, which is quite funny.
I never,
Uh,
I never expressed myself like that with this. I guess because that kind of sounds like what people are gonna shoot a loogie.
oh, it's called pulling a Hoomer. Yeah, I heard that one before. What did Danny say? I argued with the safety department. How many idiots do you have that have to drive around same parking lot for 12 hours before parking? Oh, tell me about that one. Tell me that one. But there is actually a funny clip. These guys are in a car looking for a space in the parking space, and then they see one as they're turning in. It turns out that there's a bike parked, and they didn't seem to be too happy about it.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about the lady
Danny's
with the with what?
read up Danny's comment. I argue with the safety department. How many idiots do you have that have to drive around the same parking lot for 12 hours before parking? So that just reminded me of that clip that I saw where two guys in the car looking for parking space. They see one between two cars. As they turn in, they realize there's a bike there. Well, thank you very
Man,
much for
you know
popping
what?
in, Zerzus. Thank you very much for popping in, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. And yes, please, if you haven't pressed the like button, please do so, because I know every one of you where you live. Salacious and I have made a list of where you people live. So we've been
Hey,
knocking
so
on your
hey,
door.
Suits. Next time if you want to come up, let me know, man, so we can have a little talk about anything you want. But I like to have a talk with you. You seem like a smart guy. But yeah, thanks for coming by.
Seems to be smart guy. So you're questioning his smartness then.
No, I'm I'm saying that he seems like a smart guy, but I don't want to make a full assumption and put undue pressure on him if he's not.
No, I'm just pulling your leg. News Now enemy doesn't know where he lives. You don't know where you live. I know where you live. Mm. Smithy wants a links, Jerry.
Ah,
Smithy, he said he wants a link.
he wants a sausage link.
Link to the StreamYard.
Mm.
Last message is won't give me a link. So I'm thinking that he means the link to StreamYard.
What? I'm confused.
Oh,
Katie, she's still here.
Katie is here. Oh, you don't know where he lives. Oh, how can you not tell your sister where you live? News Now enemy. That is just bad, man. That is just really bad. What kind of a brother are
Oh,
you?
the kind of brother that doesn't want to be around his sister.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, come on. Your sister is a lovely lady. You know, not telling her where you live. That's just not on at all. You see, I did the
I want
side thing for Katie.
anytime I hear like about siblings being so close to each other, like in certain things that I do, I always wonder what their life was like. Like I start thinking about like moments because like I think about when I used to fight with my brothers and stuff like that. I wonder if they had
Mm.
moments like that where they would get to like really big fights and they'd be like, "I'm so tired of you."
Yeah, yeah. There was an age difference between my sister and me. So anybody who would ask me how many brothers sisters we are, I used to say two brothers because it was me and my younger brother. And we used to annoy each other by simply touching each other. You touched me. You touched me. I touched you. You touched me once. I touched you twice. And then he would go and complain to mom. And who would get the earful? Me, because I'm older.
Yeah, well, you have to look out for your for your baby brother, baby sister, whoever's the little one always gets away with everything.
Yeah, I know. I know. My youngest niece gets away with almost anything. When I go visit my brother in Ohio, 2 days before I'm flying back, my sister-in-law said, "Oh, by the way, can you just clean my SUV, please? You
Oh,
got three kids. Why don't you use your kids?" My brother said, "Oh, do you mind just cutting the grass?" Aye, but you got a son. Yeah, well, but he's my son. You're my brother. So
but why'd you have kids?
yeah, yeah. So my sister-in-law always takes the piss out of me when she goes, "Do you mind doing some dishes?" So I'm not used to washing machine. Not sorry, a dishwasher. So I go in and start washing dishes as I do in the UK. And then she wouldn't say anything until I'm all done. She goes, "There's a dishwasher there." So now I get a contract signed by her that she's not going to give me any homework when I come over. But she still does. But, I love my brother.
That's cool. One second. Hang on. My headset's running out of battery. 1 second.
Yeah, sure. Smithy, yeah, I mean, whenever I'm with Jerry, that's usually my job to read on site. But having said that, Jerry has actually got a lot better than when he used to be.
What do you
Danny,
mean?
I've been super lucky and really fortunate. I have zero accidents and zero moving violation, not one my entire adult life. Hey, girl, never say never. Never say never, because there's always can be tomorrow. I had one bike accident, which was kind of my fault because I wasn't really looking. That's the only accident I ever had, and we both survived. It wasn't as bad, but it was bad, but not that bad. We we sorted it out outside the court, and the man I hit, he was really nice to me, and we managed to get that all sorted. You're walking on my panel, Jerry. Well, I'm always happy to help anyone that needs company. I'm always happy to help out. Uh, Jameen is one missing. I've not seen a message from Jameen. So, right. So, Katie, what your brother has done is that he's given you the old address, and then he's moving out so that you don't find out where. That's just not right. By the way, I'm very good at finding people up. Danny, Oh, let's hope not. Right. Oh, you're still here, Jim. Since you've been to Dunoon, I think you and I will get on really well. And did you manage to understand the Glasgow accent any chance while you were here? Or the people don't speak that strong? Going back. Car speeding and running a red light while I was doing my driver's license test. Never drove again. Yeah, I mean it can be traumatic. But like they say, if you fall off the horse, first thing you do is get back on the horse. I loved driving while I was able to, but then with my diagnosis of epilepsy, I had to give back my license, and the first couple of years were really hard. But then I got used to the local buses, and our bus service is really good in the UK. The buses can connect you from within the whole
Okay, I'm back.
country.
Can you hear me?
Say again?
I said I'm back. Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you at all.
Darn it. Hang on. I'll come back when you can hear me.
I'm joking. You said, "Can you hear me?" And I said, "No, I can't hear you."
I know.
Come on, man. You should have got used to it by now. Who evicted you? Let me just go in. If you want, I can go and have a word with them. How dare they evicted you? Nah.
Who got evicted?
No, News Now enemy says that not my fault. I got evicted. Lived in 55 and subsidy. Then my wife passed away, and I am 35. Can't live there by myself. No, I understand that. I really, honestly do understand that. By the way, you're not 53. You're 35. You know, you move things around a little bit. All right. So in the noon, they said that you spoke funny. Yeah. All my American nephews and nieces, when they were little, they would tell me that I can't speak English, and they would go and tell their teachers that I couldn't speak English. And it was fun when I had to go and pick them up from nursery, and they would say, "By the way, the uncle's going to come pick them up," and the teachers will be very confused until I will speak to them, and then they would realize that I speak slightly different kind of English. And
Hey,
I used to go on.
you know what? News Now. You actually sound like you're you're not even over 30. You sound like you maybe like 25. So you don't even sound old.
No, it's because he's 35. Come on. My dad was 83, and I used to say he's 38. You know, my
I
nan and
know, I
my
know,
mom
my,
never
I
got
know my
older than
grandpa used to
21.
talk like he was 90 when he was like in his 70s.
If it was 90, that means he was 9. 0 doesn't count,
Okay.
you know? Exactly. Katie's only 25. There you go.
No, she's talking about news now.
I know, but I just chose to read 25. Oh, Smithy, I'm really sorry to hear that, my friend. Uh, Times like these are never easy. I lost my son in 2015 and still very hard till this day. Then I lost some more loved ones in my life. I lost my dad last year, November 2nd. He went to the hospital on the 30th. I spoke to him on the 29th. But yeah, he lived a good life. I mean, some go early than others. But we come into the world and we all have something to offer. Once we have finished our job, then it's time for us to go and give the space for someone else. It's the way I look at it anyway. But
Well, I just don't want to be on the plane when it's the time for the pilot to go.
when the oxygen thing that comes down, it's got pure oxygen, so you're not even gonna know it because it has pure oxygen. So that will put you out. That'll get you unconscious. I used to do research on these things because my housemate used to have a fear of flying. So I used to read up all these things, for my housemate. My other housemate used to show crashes before Brendan had to fly to somewhere.
What?
Yeah,
Why? That sounds so traumatic.
yeah. Dave, Brendan, and we go back a long way, and we have a nasty sense of humor when it comes down to between us three. I send him Christmas presents. Usually he only opened one present in front of his family. He never opened it again in front of his family because he knows he was going to get something that he would be too embarrassed to tell his parents or his grandparent, or he got from me. So we always send each other two presents. One is the proper Christmas present, and one the the thongs for men had just come out,
The
and
what?
there's a thong
The
for
funk?
men. THONG thong.
The
It's
thunk?
it's no, it's like underwear, but it's the smallest underwear you can possibly find.
Oh, the thong. Okay.
Yeah. So they had just come out, and I still remember I paid a fortune for it. And that was his first Christmas present when he went to his family, opened it up. He looked at it, he knew what it was. So his grand says, "What is that?" He goes, "Oh, it's a handkerchief." And after that, he never opened his Christmas present in front of his family. So he'll open it up in his bedroom and then go and show what he got. Life has to have a laugh in it. Otherwise, life is boring.
I don't know. I'm always trying to find the funny parts of life. Eh? I
Yeah,
like
because
it.
because life is boring. If everybody was happy, we nobody would be wanting to live. And if there was sadness all over the place, then the world would not be what it is. So we have to have a laugh. We have good times, we have bad times. Right? What have you picked?
What?
They can have a pilot and a co-pilot and a backup autopilot. Even about the C3PO. I don't know what C3PO is, and you
C-3PO.
still
That's the robot from Star Wars, the golden robot.
right. Well, but they don't have it on the plane. But Danny, I have treated clients who are scared of flying, and the ones I have treated, they love flying now. I I don't like takeoff. I don't mind landing. Takeoff is something that, yeah, my knuckles just go red. But landing, I'm fine with. Don't know why.
Well, we already up in the air. I'm I I don't like landing only because you always get that thing in your ear. I don't know. I get that stupid it used to be more painful when I was younger, but like now it's like it's just annoying. I don't like it.
Mm. Danny, have you ever been in a C-130 Hercules?
Oh.
It's a Air Force. It's known as Air Force cow because it's big
Hey, Katie.
and doesn't have any interior like a normal plane would have. So you would hear every little noise that it makes. And it's very noisy in the C-130. Hello, Katie.
Hi, how are you? Can you guys hear me?
Can't hear you at all. Baby comes from Stark. No. Babies come from cabbage.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, sure.
How about now?
Yeah, yeah. I can hear you.
Does it sound
Oh, you're coming in now.
Do
Yeah,
I sound
you come
closer or do I sound far away?
You sound far away.
Okay, I think it's picking up on my other mic. Let me just grab my other mic because I don't know what's happening with this one.
Sure thing. Oh, you mean so you have been on C-130? So you know the kind of noise I'm talking about then. And Richard Farmer, welcome back.
I think this is the mic that it's picking up.
Yeah, that's excellent.
That's
excellent mic.
my backup mic. My good mic for some reason. I'm glad I figured it out now instead of tomorrow when I was about to stream. So that's something.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. I mean, all right, you go away. And I guess we're using the backup mic.
Pack it up. Let me begin.
I'm glad I have a backup mic.
Nice.
So what's up? I was listening just before I came on, and finding levity in life is very important because if you don't laugh, you'll just go nuts. I always try to find the humor and stuff.
Yeah, mostly I try to laugh at myself.
I mean, I like laughing at other people too, but whatever.
Yeah, laughing at yourself is the beginning of having a good laugh.
True. If you can't laugh at yourself, you really shouldn't be laughing at other people.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, I'm glad you came up because there was some true crime stuff that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Like the video that I sent you. Remember the one of that poor lady that she was being stalked like that whole situation had me like I was like I gotta talk to Katie about that one because I can't believe that they had so like there were so many signs that dude was like stalking her and they still didn't stop him.
I know. Well, and it drove me nuts. And I can't remember her name. Maybe you could tell that I like to give whoever's here have no idea what we're talking about. So I want to give them a little a TLDR of what's happening before we talk about it. So there was this young woman, I think she was in high school or college, young girl, and she was a dancer. And there was a guy who was stalking her at her dance practice, and she noticed this guy following her home. And so she did the smart thing, which I always tell people to do. Notice somebody's following you. What do? You go to a well-lit place or to a police station if you can. And she did that. She drove to a police station, went into their parking lot, and the guy saw that she did that and drove past. So then she left again. And then he was following her again. She went back. I think she went back twice to the police station, but she never went into the police station. She just drove there, waited for him to go. And then he ended up kidnapping her. She went home, I guess, didn't notice him following her anymore, which you would think she would have been on high alert at that point. But he ended up grabbing her from her mailbox at the end of the driveway and, raped her, killed her, dumped her in a forest or a lake or something.
Yeah.
But what really got me is that she knew that this guy had been an issue in the area for a while, stalking like young women, and nobody did anything about it.
Yeah, not just her friend. He would stalk her friend. He knew exactly what time they came out and everything. and the reason, the one of the main reasons why I wanted to bring it up, not just because of like you, and because you know how frauditors are always saying, "Oh, it's just a camera. Oh, what are you worried about? Somebody just like hanging out and stuff like that." It's like because of stories like this,
Exactly.
because we can't normalize people just standing around not doing nothing because of cases like this.
Exactly. And honestly, if anybody here is listening, if you ever feel like you're being followed, not only go to the well lit like area shopping center or the police station, but actually go in and tell somebody what's happening. Like, don't just wait for the guy to leave. Man, that part really got to me. But this guy was so dumb too, because he left evidence just everywhere. He like gave alibis. He said, "Oh, I was with these people or those people," and the police would go to the people he said he was with, and they're like, "Nah, I have no idea what you're talking about. I haven't seen that guy in days." So he didn't even like solidify alibis ahead of time or anything like that. Like, he was just super duper guilty, you know?
Yeah, well, Danny, I have no idea why this never got like it never got more attention than what they gave it. I mean, I wish I could remember off the top of my head the name of the victim, so you know you could go check out that story. But it's like the whole neighborhood, like not neighborhood, but the whole like school knew about this guy and how he would just sit there, like waiting for specifically her. Right, he was going after her specifically, but he would also follow her friends and other people, and it's crazy because they knew about him. But they never once like, you know, even tried to like put a TPO something on them, you know, like I never understood. I don't understand why that couldn't be, you know, like at least, you know, like looked into more than what it was. Maybe it's because they didn't take them seriously. I don't know.
Her name is Jody Sanderhorn, and the case took place in Arkansas City. I guess that's in Arkansas. It doesn't say the state, and it was in 2007. And the reason I wanted to pull it up too, I was wondering if there was some other big case that was going on in January of 2007 that, you know, that occupied the media,
right?
Which is why this wasn't reported on. And I'm trying to think, is that like, is that when that little girl, what's her name, Casey Anthony, was happening? Was that 2007?
Was it? Oh, that story is terrible too.
The problem that what I have noticed, because I do comparison to what's happening in the U.S. and what facilities are available to us in the UK, I was being stalked. All it took was one phone call to the police. The police came in, got my mobile phone, picked up the CCTV footage, and I never had to go to the police station again. All I got was a letter saying that somebody is going to stand up for me. So the prosecutor, I never had to attend the court. And if I did have to attend the court, only the prosecutor and the defense lawyer will be able to see my face.
That's good.
Not the defendant. So that's happened to me. That was back in 2010, 2011. So we have the laws. The laws are slightly more strict in Scotland compared to England.
Yeah.
And that's why I compared it. So there's a loophole within the American law system which needs to be tightening up.
Remind me, did you say you're from Scotland or England?
Yeah.
From Scotland.
No, I'm from Scotland.
Okay. I've been to England before. I've never been to Scotland, but another sister, like there's a lot of us, but one of my sisters is in Scotland actually right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, look at you guys. You've spread out all around the world, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, we get around, I guess. that came out wrong.
Yeah, no, yeah. I thought that case was something crazy and something to talk about as far as like, you know, like how, you know, like I said, these fraudsters, they don't understand that whole situation about, you know, what's so wrong about somebody just standing here and taking pictures or whatever. You know, it's like it has nothing to do with your camera, has everything to do with like why are you here? You know, and if you can't answer simple questions like, you know, why are you doing this? What's your name and stuff like that? You know, we can't normalize that. I wouldn't feel comfortable if we normalize people just standing around with cameras and not answering questions. Like, I couldn't. It has nothing to do with like me, you know, not wanting them to do what they want to do, but at the same time, it's like, what kind of laws are you advocating for here, where you're just standing there and people just need to take you watching them, you know?
Well, there was one that Hezekiah showed on his channel this week sometime. I don't remember which day, but it was a frauditor who was filming people at like a DMV, and there was a woman getting upset, and he says to her, what do you just live in fear? Why are you afraid? And I'm thinking to myself, I am weaker than 50% of the population by far. And I've been a victim in the past. Who knows what this woman's story is? She may have had an ex that was abusive, who's sending people to stalk her. She may have had, escaped some sort of situation where she doesn't want to be found. And for him to say that to a woman was just insane to me. Like if a woman doesn't want to be filmed, there could be very good reasons for it.
Yeah,
but if they had common sense and the logic, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it could be a man too, right? You know, a man could, you know, like not want people to film him and stuff like that. I just think that it's so dumb for people to be like, oh, you shouldn't feel uncomfortable. Like, no, that's like, no, we should feel uncomfortable. Like that's you're saying, you're telling us to go against our intuition, our you know, like the thing that makes us human. You know, like that's no, you know, like it's not a normal thing to have somebody just filming you out of nowhere. And if you do get filmed, say by accident or say because somebody's filming something else and you come on, I mean, usually nobody's as rude as these guys are, you know. Is that nobody's ever like, oh, did I capture you, or I don't answer questions, right? It's like, no, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I was just doing this, so, and then you feel better, right? All they have to do is a little explanation, like, I was filming something over here. I'm sorry I caught you. I won't. You don't worry about it. I'll get rid of the footage, you know, whatever, you know. And that'll be done with.
And it's different getting filmed if you're like at a public park or at a carnival or Disney World where people are taking pictures. There's a thing, but they're at the post office in the DMV. You're not expecting to be filmed there, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And they have no empathy towards anyone's rights except for their own. You know, I hear them a lot when they ask police to identify themselves. They'll be like, "Well, it's your company, it's your department's policy that you have to identify yourself with your name and your badge." Like they know all the policies, but then you see them go into a post office and the postmaster's like, or a DMV or wherever they're at, and the post or whoever it is who's in charge is saying there's a sign that says you can't film, and they say, "Well, that's a policy. That's not a law." Well, I thought you were all about following the policies when you're talking to the cop yesterday and you wanted his badge number. It's their policy. They have to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So pick one. Stop being so hypocritical.
Yeah, no, and the thing is that they know what they know what they're doing. They like to play with words like that. You know, like it's mostly because it's a power trip. Mm-hmm. They like calling name and badge number when they're losing the power. When you'll notice a lot when you see the frauders at the beginning, they won't so much, you know, ask for the name and badge number so much, but the minute they start getting pushed around by the cop, like if the cop is asserting himself, that's when they start name and badge number.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and just some of them are just such ridiculous situations that are going on. Like the police are trying to perform a DUI test. Do you really want to be distracting the driver if they're taking a DUI test and get them in trouble if they're not supposed to get in trouble because they're distracted by you and they don't do something right, or, you know?
Right. Hey, that's where that, you know, obstruction comes in. And it always makes me laugh when they're like, obstruction is a physical thing. Like you can't obstruct somebody by just like distracting them. Like, oh man, it gets so they're so frustrating. They're like
Yeah, and they impede police investigations constantly. The police will be trying to investigate either a drunk driver. We want drunk drivers off the street. I think we can all agree on that. I don't want to be
Right,
on
yeah.
the main road with a drunk driver. So for them to be impeding an investigation where somebody may be driving drunk, it's just, you know, I hate to wish something bad upon these people, but in the back of my head, I have thought, and I hesitate to say out loud, but what if something happens to one of their loved ones and they get hit by a drunk driver? Then are they going to keep doing that? You know,
I honestly don't think they have enough loved ones to even think about that.
yeah.
There is a point. There's a point Pack has made, and I 100% agree with him. When you're stopped in the UK for possible drink driving, the first thing they do is they bring in breathalyzer. As soon as once you pass that, then you do your other tests when you get to the police station. But
Yeah.
breathalyzer is the first thing you do. But
Well,
not in the US. You have to do this walk, and you have to touch your nose, and you have to do this exercise and that exercise. And Australia is the same.
No, I get it, but you guys got to understand. The police here work under the innocent until proven guilty. So when they have to assert their rights for the stop, you have to first do the physical one, because DUI laws over here, they kind of go, they think it's unconstitutional if you have to put somebody under a medical procedure without having the reasonable articulate suspicion that they are drunk. You know what I mean? That's why they have to do the test first. They probably found a way to skirt around it in the UK and in other places, because that's what I noticed. A lot of our laws over here are kind of like, you would think, you just go straight to the breathalyzer, go straight to, you know what I mean?
Honestly, if I were to ever get pulled over and they started to have me do those tests, I would just say straight to the, like, I'm not doing any of this physical stuff. Just give me the breathalyzer, because I know I'm not drinking or, drinking and driving. And I don't think I would do well on those tests, even completely sober, because I have a bad back and like standing on one foot hurts, and you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I would say no, like, let's just skip straight to the breathalyzer. And you don't, if you get pulled over, you don't have to, you can refuse any of the tests. You could ask for a blood test or a breathalyzer test, or
You can refuse all of them if you want. It's just the whole catch to that is that they'll put you on that where they take away your license for I think they automatically suspend it for like a year, and then you have to I don't. This is California. I'm sorry, guys. It could be different in other states. In California, if you refuse any of the tests or all of the tests, you lose your license for a year, and depending on the court, like the court case, it could go worse, like because you refused the test. But it could, you could be proven innocent, and because you didn't take the test, they don't have any evidence. So, but you do get your license suspended for a year, for sure, if you decide not to take any of the tests.
Katie's brother has just put down a blue 0.0 and failed in.
It's because you did you do the dance with the 9 steps this way and 9 steps back? Did you fail that part?
I would fail all of them.
I would too. I would never do those tests personally, because they'd say I was on something else, or like I'm wondering if they were saying, I don't know the details of I remember this court case, but I don't remember the details because it was a long time ago for my brother. But I think they were accusing him of being on some other substance, even though he blew a 0.
Yeah, there have been few places
legal here. So
yeah,
Well,
I don't know what the. Sorry, go on.
This is for the frauders if they decide to float in here for whatever reason. Just so you know, we're not always bootlegging, all right?
What's hilarious? I covered Chili DeCastro, some stupid stuff he was doing on one of my streams recently, and I clipped that and put it out as a separate video. And I have people in the comments calling me a Nazi and racist, I think, or that was a different video. But I'm thinking I am so level, like obviously that's the only thing they ever watched of mine, because when there's bad cops, I'm the first one to point it out. You know what I mean? I'm not that at all. So
Yeah, no.
There is another thing that the frauditors normally do, that nobody makes videos of people or the officers that are breaking the law. And I always say, go in and watch a channel called Cops and Cons. That channel only concentrates on officers that are gone bad.
Yeah.
That's
I did a
the
whole
only thing he
episode.
covers.
I did a whole episode of Crimeland where it was just all bad cops. I just happened to get, like, the way I get my stories is people send them to me, and I just happened to have a bunch of them all in the same couple of weeks. And I thought I named the episode Good Cop, Bad Cop because I was going to cover both. It turns out the good cop that I covered, I found out after the fact, was also breaking the law. So it was basically all bad cops. You know?
Well, you see, the thing is that, like, I don't live under the illusion, the delusion that you know, like, just because I believe what fraudsters are doing, that means that every cop is gonna be an angel, or there's never gonna be any corruption, right? You know, like, yeah, there's gonna be bad cops. They're out there, and some of them are gonna do some real bad stuff. But the thing is that, you know, like, it's the narrative that's spin, right? It's like, oh, you see the situation with this cop. Oh, now, say it was a bad shooting or whatever. Oh, now every time I get stopped by a cop, are you gonna shoot me? Or am I gonna? Do I have to be a fear for my life? You know, so come on, like this. You know that whatever that situation was, it's gonna be specific to the area. It's gonna be specific to the situation that the cop was in. It has nothing to do with a regular, you know, traffic stop or interaction like that. If you feel that you're gonna be in a situation where you're gonna get hurt by an officer, you need to question the things that you're doing. You know, because it's like. It just because there's one thing that exists doesn't mean that it's like, you know, it's not the, you know what I mean, it's the exception, not the rule. What I'm trying to say.
Having both ideologies of all cops are bastard and back the blue no matter who are both dumb. If you cannot find nuance and pick apart every single case and then come to a conclusion, you are not using all of your brain cells, because every single situation is different, and you have to find what applies to that situation, and it's not always the same. If you look at all of these police shootings, when you dig down into the facts, most of them, the person was either reaching for a weapon or threatening the officer, doing something. But then there's Travis Scott, I think his name. No, not Travis Scott. There was the one where the guy was running away. What was that guy's name in 2015? That was 100%. The cop was a bad cop. He shot the guy in the back. He planted a weapon on him. Also, he was convicted of murder and is in prison right now. So, you know, you got to read all of the facts and separate the cases. You know.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's most frustrating, I think, more than anything. It's like, and I know you see Sean's stuff because I watch it too. But like, the thing that's more frustrating about everything is that, like, when the things go the way they're supposed to go, they don't say that. You know, they say things like the cops are gonna, you know, like the DA might charge them, but no, they're actually getting charged and stuff like that. And people don't understand exactly what qualified immunity is. Like, there's a lot of confusion on what qualified immunity is. And so you hear, like, fraudsters say, I'm going to take away your qualified immunity. Like, no, you're not. You don't even know what that is, you know? It's like, there's so many little things. Hang on, one second. There's so many little nuances on like the way the system works. But one thing that people should always understand, that cops can't get away with crimes. They commit a crime and they're gonna face the same prosecution that everybody else does. That the only thing that they have as far as qualified immunity has to do with civil litigation. People who are gonna sue them for, say, breaking their arm while arresting them and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with the actual, you know, actions that they take as far as, you know, being criminality and legal.
Yeah. The guy's name was Walter Scott, by the way, not Travis Scott. I knew I had that wrong. Go. Walter Scott.
Yeah, we were close, so I knew what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The problem that what I have noticed in the US is the police union. The police union has more powers than they should have as a union. And some of the cops that are the bad cops have got away with murder, and that's because of the union. What my problem was, which I watched, and it rarely happens where the cop has a very bad reputation. He gets sent home, and then the person goes to a different state and applies for a job, and they give him a job without looking at the history, and that's because of what the union has done. Now, your brother has written, I grew up in Chicago, and the mobs and the cops, it was the same thing. And Jameen said in New York, there have been cops that are part of mafia. It is true, and it may not be visible as much now than it used to be back then. But whenever there is a shooting or if there's a car crash, we always have the investigation team comes out. Now we have special police officers that carry guns, and the response time that they have is 2 minutes, and they fire one bullet, and they make it count. So we have had internal situation where a guy in London got himself a knife, and he knifed two people that he worked with, and then he was out, and people were trying to beat him up, and the police called in. The police went and fired one bullet straight in between the eyes, and that was it, finished. So we have had 3 situations in the last 5 years, mainly in London, unfortunately. But the police turns up, one bullet fired, and end of story. But all these things are getting investigated.
I think it's
Good morning,
insane that
Pokey.
I think it's crazy that cops over there don't carry weapons. Although I can understand why, is because most criminals over there don't have guns.
Oh, no. We have guns. We have
Well-
illegal guns.
But not at the same rate as the United States.
Yes,
Do you see what I
that
mean?
is true. Yeah, that's true.
Um,
That is true.
So having unarmed police officers in the United States would not work out well. You know?
No. The U.S. has an entirely different culture
Mhm.
and a society and the concept of living that you won't find it here. Now you've been to England, so you're kind of used to how English people are like.
Yeah,
But when you come to Scotland,
my grandfather was from Bolton, and we actually went there to visit family. So just outside of Manchester.
yeah, I know it's north of England.
Mhm.
But if you come to Scotland, we are an entirely different nation. Our psychology is different. Glasgow's motto is "People make Glasgow," and you would never get lost in Glasgow, no matter which part of the world you're from. You will never get lost because you would ask someone, or even if you look confused and you're looking at a map,
Mhm.
somebody will stop and say, "Can I help you?" If they have time, they will walk you.
Yeah.
Or they will pay your bus fare, or they pay for
Oh,
your
man.
taxi.
That sounds like a frauder's a dream, a place where people come up to you like, how can I help you?
Yeah. But they won't last long here. Tell you that.
Well, it depends on where you live in the United States. Obviously, the cities are very different. Than, like where I live. I live in an unincorporated. Like I don't even live technically in a city. My address is attached to a town, but it's I don't have city like septic system, or I have a septic tank, not city sewer lines and water and stuff like that. So.
Mhm.
People here, if you look lost, will ask if you need help as well, but it's just because the South is super friendly.
Just quickly, I need to answer 2 questions here.
Mhm.
Jameen, yes, the normal police don't have weapons. We have a special police that came in after 9/11. They are in jeeps, and the back windows are tinted. And if there is something special going on, then you will see officers in black uniform, and they will be carrying guns. You can openly see guns in the airports. Danny, the total population of Scotland is 5 million people.
Yeah, it's a lot of people for a little island.
Yeah. We need more. We actually need more people. in Scotland.
We need less, so you can have some of ours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a few cousins I want to give you.
Oh, we need some more Mohicans. Mohicans? How do you call Mexico?
No.
Mexico. Come on, you're the local man, so I have to ask you, is Mohican, right?
It's okay. You can call them Holmes. Holmes is okay with.
Homes. Right. Yeah, we can have some of them because Mexican food is crap, absolutely crap here. Because I tried it in Minnesota, and I
I'm
still
not
can
going to
taste
be
it.
sending you cooks.
I mean, food business is amazing in this country. Trust me.
Tacos are easy to make, P. Barnes. All you got to do is get some. I don't know how to say. I don't know what kind of slice of meat is carne asada.
It's beef.
Yeah, but it has
That's
to
why
be
you-
Angus, though. It has to be British Angus. The
You-
Angus meat. Angus beef is the most expensive in Scotland and is the best beef. It actually properly melts. It comes from Highland cows. You guys have them in the US. Texas is pretty well known for Angus. But it's the water we have, it's the grass we have in Scotland that makes that beef taste so much better.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and we have Taco Bell here. I've tried their food, and it's totally shite.
It's not Mexican food.
That's not Mexican food.
That's the closest we have managed to find here. And Jameen, I never tried haggis because I found out how it's made and what's in it.
Yeah.
And black pudding as well. I've never tried that either because of what's in it.
Ooh.
And no, Jerry, I'm not gonna say it. You can Google that.
When I was over there, I didn't try it either because I knew what it what it was.
Oh,
Well,
Mrs.
outside of-
Now Voodoo's here.
Same thing with tripe. I'm not eating that either.
Oh, come on. Us Mexicans, we love our tripe.
Oh.
We love putting it in our tacos, and then when we eat the tacos, we like chewing on it and like pulling on it. Oh.
That's so gross.
I have to admit, Pizza Hut pizza is not as good as Domino's pizza.
Oh, you haven't had pizza.
No. We have Pizza Hut and we have Domino's. I prefer Domino's pizza.
That's not
It's
pizza.
much more better.
No, you haven't.
Yeah.
You haven't had a pizza until you've had a
Don't know.
Chicago style deep dish pizza.
Oh,
That is my favorite pizza.
that
that is
is
Do not mention
what?
pineapple.
Chicago
Please don't.
style deep dish pizza is specifically made for tourists. The people from Chicago don't really eat that unless they have company visiting from out of town.
Wow. Well, you guys fooled me, but I love the stuff. I love that stuff.
You know what though? When I was in England, we had really good pizza at an Italian restaurant. They have a lot of Italians, and I can't remember if it was when we were in London or in Manchester. We traveled all around, but I remember having like real pizza in England, like from an Italian guy making it. Yeah.
Yeah, there are quite really nice places. Italian pasta, Italian pizzas, they are quite well known. One of my colleagues, he was in college with me. He's so Italian that his whole furniture and kitchen utilities, everything in the kitchen came from Italy. And every August, he will bring back wine that he would make, and you can drink the whole 2-liter bottle and still not be hammered because there was no alcohol in it.
Oh, what a jip.
Come on, he had small kids then. Yes, we do deep fry pizza, and I don't know if you ever tried deep fry Mars bar. You mean?
Oh, yeah, I've had that.
They don't sell it here anymore, but legally you can get them.
Over here in, you guys have state fairs, right, Katie?
Yeah, I've been once. There's one that comes through, I think, once a year in the fall.
Yeah, we have our state fairs. They're coming up pretty soon. Like they come usually at the end of the summer. And we have this one state fair, the Orange County one. That one, they have the like this one booth that's not, it's fried everything. Like they'll fry anything. So that you can bring stuff from your house if you want to just see what happens if it gets fried. But they
Anything
do
you
all
can
that.
eat,
Huh?
anything you can eat will get deep fried in Glasgow for some strange reason. They deep fry everything.
Yeah, no, that's the challenge right there. Is like bring something to get it fried and see if you like it. but they do like they have the chocolate bars and they have the pickles, which I really like the pickles. That like I don't know why I like deep fried. Everything deep fried just tastes good. Deep fried pickles just they're delicious. I love getting the deep fried pickles. And then
So you can only get those at the fair. They don't have like in Georgia. There's deep fried pickles at every restaurant. Like there's just on the menu here.
nah, they're like over here is like it's like against the law. Only like only when the county fair's on, then you can have a deep fried pickle.
There you go. Scotto says, I was raised in South, so we deep fry everything. Yeah, it's the same in Glasgow. And Jerry, did you notice that Mrs. News Now Voodoo is here? You haven't said good morning to her.
I'm not talking to Mrs. News Now Voodoo.
Oh, what happened?
She knows what happened.
She's so nice. Deep fried air, my News Now enemy. Yeah, that's something I need to try.
I think deep fried air is just a funnel cake, right? Like
Yeah. Get some powdered sugar on that.
yeah.
Hey, all right, Peck. See you later, bud.
Well, you remember when the ice cream in the US came in, which was frozen ice cream? It was frozen in nitrogen. I can't remember when it was. It was in
Isn't that
98 or
isn't that like
99.
space ice cream? Isn't that like the astronaut ice cream?
I don't know. I think it was in 1999, 2000 time. That time when those ice creams came in, and obviously now we know that nitrogen is not really good for you. So, Katie, thank you for drinking whatever you're drinking and not offering us.
It's coffee. It's
Thanks for not
out.
offering us coffee.
I need to go get some more actually. it's
While you get more coffee, Jerry's going to talk until you come back. How's that?
okay, Jerry. It'll take me. I got a Keurig, so it'll take just a couple of minutes. I'll be right back.
Go ahead. It's fine.
There you go. Now you need to talk for 2 minutes straight. Go on, Jerry.
No, not 2 minutes. I could have sworn we've been talking for the last almost 2 hours, P. Barnes. I think we're okay.
Rocky Mountain oysters. I've not heard of that one.
Yeah, I might want to stay away from them.
Sushi. I cannot handle sushi. I absolutely cannot handle it. I tried it once, and what happened after, I'm not even going to mention it. Well, there you go. Everybody's now going for coffee. News No Enemies is going for coffee. Then
Everybody
says, coffee. I want some too. Be right back. Oh, thanks. I love you all too as well. Thanks for not offering me or Jerry. Not that I would drink coffee because it's quite warm. Because I used to.
I wish I had the promotion that Katie has. The buy me a coffee. I'd love that right now.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. We need to get your numbers up. You keep saying no, but I keep saying we need to get your numbers up. And we need to get your numbers up. Right. People that are in the stream, bug Jerry every week. He needs to do a show on a Sunday. You're supposed to do a show at 8 a.m. Eastern time, American Eastern time, of every Sunday. But we need to kick Jerry's backside until he starts doing it.
What?
No, we need
You
to
don't
kick your butt.
I'm more than willing to do it.
Do you mean that my wife? My wife went down to Virginia Beach. I don't know what the sign is. I have managed my son with cerebral palsy till Monday. That's a tough job. I've not personally experienced it, but based on what I have read, it's a tough job.
Wait, what are we talking about?
No, it's Jameen just put in a comment, so I just read that comment.
8 a.m. or 8 p.m. news now?
8 a.m. Eastern time, because people are waking up, and what they want to do is when they wake up to listen to a sexy voice like mine, not yours because you hardly speak. So
I'm
sexy,
speaking?
gorgeous. Yeah, you don't speak. Yeah,
Oh,
that would be
yeah.
AM.
Why? I'll be doing a live tomorrow too.
Oh yeah, it's tomorrow Sunday, isn't it? Darn, I thought it was Sunday today.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Danny's got her coffee.
Yeah.
Katie's got her coffee,
I do.
and News Now Enemy has brought his coffee as well. Well, at least he sent 2 cups of coffee as well. Unlike some people who got holding a dog in their lap. I'm not going to mention any names.
This dog is a terrorist, so I don't trust her. She's got to stay in here with me.
Right.
She's still a puppy. I just don't trust her.
Yeah.
He's a lazy puppy. I would have, you know, how much she sleeps. I wouldn't have guessed she was a puppy.
Just give her like
No, he's a puppy.
It goes from running, zooming around the house, bouncing off the walls to just like relaxed, and there's no in between.
That's dope.
Yeah.
It looks like you can look at the face and you know it's a puppy in Mummy's. No, Mummy, you're spoiling too much.
She
That's
was
what it is.
born December 15th, so she's about 5 months old. Right.
Wow.
No, she definitely looks like a puppy.
Yeah.
You can look at her face and you can say.
She's taken the doggy door off of the door 4 times in the last 3 days, and she's eaten my favorite pair of Adidas, and she peed on the floor, and she's got a doggy door, so I don't know why she didn't go outside.
Is everybody okay?
What happened?
Yeah. We got deaf, but I think our hearing is coming back.
Well, everybody was talking about coffee, so I don't have any coffee, but I know that I have a Red Bull somewhere around here, and so I found it. And when I was reaching for it, my phone went the way of the.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We're not going to say anything to you, Jerry. We're just going to take the piss out of you tomorrow.
My brother was asking where Xena is. Xena's right here. This is my dog. That other dog is my husband's dog. This dog is an angel and is well behaved. This is my co-host for my crime show. She's on every episode.
So it's the same way, Katie. When children behave themselves, it's like, oh, they just like his daddy. When they misbehave, oh, just like their mommy.
Yeah. No, I mean, seriously, this puppy needs training. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
wait, I want to show you to the people. Stay right here. Don't move. Oh, Gordo, stop. You're gonna be a celebrity. You like it or not? Come here.
This is
right.
I have my dogs on my show because it's the only way I get super chats or donations. I tell people if they donate, I'll give the dogs milk bones.
That's smart, Kate. No, Gordo, you're gonna do what? Hang on, I got him. Gordo, just say hi. I just need you to say hi. Come on, Gordo, say hi. Say hi. Come on, say hi.
Oh, hi, kitty.
Hey, can you guys see him? I can't even he's not being still.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
Here's my one.
Oh.
She's Miss Grumpy today. So
come on,
we gotta. Right, listen, I have to go because Snow White has had enough of me talking to someone else. She wants to talk to me now. So I'm going to love you both and leave you, but I will be in the chat, by the way.
Well, it was nice meeting you in person.
It was lovely talking to you, Katie.
Yeah.
It was really lovely talking to you because you are like me. You like to talk, unlike some people who just invite us so that we do all the talking.
I do like to talk.
I'll see you
I'm
guys
cool.
in the chat.
All right.
Okay, P-Bars, this is what I get for doing you a favor. You said you wanted to talk. I let you talk. Now I'm talking. Now I let you talk too much. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, fine.
That's funny.
Oh gosh, Gordo, I don't know why. The minute I turn this phone off, you're gonna come and try to hug me. I know you. I'm not gonna give you hugs then.
Hey, could somebody throw my link in the chat in case anybody's here that's not subscribed? I got a great show coming up tomorrow at 4:30.
Ooh, what you got going on tomorrow?
I'm doing a Crime Behind the Music episode, which is not on. I have 2 other episodes that are on Hawkhound Media's channel before I broke up with them. But I already had 2 more Crime Behind the Music episodes planned and written, so I'm going to do them on my channel. But the song for tomorrow, do you know the song? It's a 90s song called The Way by Fastball. If you heard it, you probably know it. But it's about a real life couple that went missing. So that's the story tomorrow.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
I mean, not cool for the couple. I mean, that sucks.
Yeah, well, you know. But it was written. What's interesting is it was written. The band, like this is the song that made the band famous. And they wrote it from when the couple was missing before they were found. So they kind of made up the story that's in the song before they knew the ending. But here, let me play just a couple of seconds of it. I don't want you to get copyright, but so people will know what it is when they hear it.
Oh yeah, that's such a 90s song.
Mm-hmm. All right, I don't want you to get a copyright, but when I hear the name of the song and the band, I'm like, I have no idea. But once you hear it, it was on every radio station.
Yeah.
So people know the song. But yeah, it was about a real life couple. So
It's like that song must have came out in like every like NYPD Blue type of show.
yeah.
Or herbal essences, or what was it? The shampoo, the shampoo called Herbal Essence. I could have sworn I heard that song in that commercial.
I don't know. Maybe it was. I know because I've been researching the case. It was number 3 in the country, I think, in 1997 or 1998. So it was on every radio station, top 10. You know, if you were alive in the 90s, you've heard that song.
Yeah, I mean, it won't hurt you now, but I gotta practice, good habits. I can't get into this, to this bad habit thing where it's like, oh, just because I'm not monetized, you never know when 1,000 people will decide to start subscribing to me.
I actually can get I can apply for monetization again in a couple of days. So I don't want to get pop for monetization for stupid stuff like that. So I actually have a friend who's a musician, who is actually, if you've heard my intro and outro music, that's him.
Okay, that's good. That's good music.
Yeah, I asked him to record just like 30 seconds of this song so I can play it tomorrow so people know the song without actually playing the song. So, because once I get monetization again, I can monetize the video,
Nice. Yeah, you should.
Here's the thing is before I was monetized, I was exactly like you. I'm like, I said probably 100 times, nobody's trying to monetize me. I don't care. I'm going to do whatever I want. But then what happens is you get monetized and you can't go back and monetize those videos that you've already made. So that's good to get into the habit now.
Yeah, it is not even it's so many people I've seen already. I've actually seen a lot of content creators go from their start to where they're at, they're really huge now,
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen all the growing pains, all the other just like you said, people who wanted to monetize old videos but they can't because of the little mistakes that they made. So I'm trying not to make those mistakes too. I'm really not trying. I've listened to all the advice that they've given me. I got a lot of support. It's funny because I do got people that can give me support now that I know if I called on them to do it for me, I'd probably get the numbers that I want. But my whole thing is that I don't want it to be artificial. I feel like I'm not gonna have the same respect if I just get like, you know, if I'm just like, you know, privileged in that way, you know what I mean?
Here's the thing. Getting like interviewing and being interviewed by bigger channels is not inorganic. That's how you grow. I would never have gotten to 1,000 subscribers if it wasn't for my friend Frank from the channel Let's Be Frank, because he's got like 100, almost 200,000, 150. I don't know. He's got a lot of subscribers. And he's a friend of mine. So I've been on his channel, and you know, I don't think he's been on mine. But either way, I would have never grown. But my point is, as long as you're not purchasing subscribers, that's organic way to grow, you know.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I guess what I mean is that like I still haven't like created content that is worth having people come over. You know what I mean? Like I still haven't made like videos and stuff like that. I don't know. I just don't feel like my content is.
I've never made a video. I've never made a video in my life. I've clipped my live stream. All I do is what you do. All I do is live stream. So it's
okay, Katie. You've convinced me. All right, I'm gonna go. Yeah. I'm gonna go get my friends to.
No, just invite people on. Like I'm on your channel right now. So or like. Fraud or Follies is in the chat right now. I'm going to go on his channel, and I don't mind if people who watch him also want to watch me. That's fine. We're not in competition, you know? So it's not like if they subscribe to my channel, they're not going to watch him anymore. It's
no, I'm not saying that. No, I'm just saying. Of course not. No, yeah. no, I'm just saying like I don't know. I guess I didn't want to. I just don't want to bother like you know, the people that are a little bit more, you know, like. I'm talking, you know, like they're just a little more popular. I don't know. I finally got Dummy Kruger to join me at a live yesterday.
That's good.
If you guys go to Professor Crack, we were doing our daily live, and Dummy Kruger came on. If you guys ever want to hear him outside of his videos, that was pretty cool. I'm actually gonna try to clip those that little interview that we did, because we weren't really planning for it to be an interview, but it ended up being an interview. It was cool. It was really nice.
Yeah. Just keep doing what you're doing, and it'll grow. Definitely. And if you have people with bigger, like that, you know, personally that have bigger channels, you know, I personally have never asked to go on somebody else's channel, but I let them know that if they want me to come on, I'm willing to come on, you know. I feel weird asking to be on some, like, that's not me, you know what I mean?
No, I don't feel weird. I'll ask. I even ask people that I don't know. Like, I'll go into like a spot that I've never been to. I was like, hey, can I get on panel? Like, what?
Well, what I do is whenever I'm on somebody else's channel, I try to be the best guest that I possibly could be. And then other people want to have me on.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's cool when you could actually like be cool and have fun. You know, like it stands out because, you know, you always want no matter what, if you're doing a live or whatever, you want it to go smooth. And if you got somebody that can help you do that, it's always a blessing. And you get somebody, hey, come on, you know, like you always remember those people, you know. It's like, I try to be the same way. I try to be as easygoing as possible, but. So I know sometimes I get a little like because I sometimes I want to like, you know, get in, say my opinion, you know, say what I want to say, you know. So like I get overzealous sometimes. I think so, because I'm like, hey, let me in.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened, but I ended up on Big Wes's channel one night. I remember it was a Sunday night because I had just streamed, and then I had just subscribed to Big Wes because he was on Fraud or Follies channel. It was right after that, and I had subscribed to him from there, and I ended up on his panel, and it went really well, and I felt like I was running the thing at one point, and then I had to step back. I'm like, this is not my channel. What am I doing? Yeah, I was in producer mode because I had just done my show. You know,
that was you know what? It's crazy. I have not been to any of his lives like at all since he's, you know, I've only seen him in other people's lives, and I think I saw him in front of the troll, like go on his panel, but I've never seen any of his lives. Like I only saw his stuff when he was a frauditor, and then when he stopped being a frauditor, I only saw him on a couple of panels. But yeah, I've been meaning to go see his stuff, but yeah, I just don't like. And then that's why sometimes I kind of have a what would you say I have an understanding for how my channel growth, how it's working right now.
Mhm.
How like what I've noticed is that like okay, I'll go like maybe like 3-4 days with the same number of subscribers, right?
Yeah.
And then on that 4th or 5th day, I'll get like 4 or 5 like
Yeah.
that'll just pop in, and it's kind of been like that. It's just like a whole week will pass and it'll be the same number all the way up until the last day of the week, and then I'll get like 5 or 6 that just hit.
Yeah,
And
I
so-
had pretty much the same thing for a long time. And then, I covered Daryl Brooks, the Daryl Brooks trial.
Oh, that was a big one.
And I went over 1,000 because hundreds of people subscribed to me all at the same time. So
Yeah, Daryl Brooks must have got a lot of people. I mean, I know a lot of the law, the what do they call it, the law tube. A lot of the lawyers were getting a lot of like subscribers during that time.
yeah,
Yeah, that would have been a good time to be like doing lives, huh?
it was just such an interesting case, you know. And what's funny is I started streaming right when the Kyle Rittenhouse trial was going on. Although I did not talk about it on my channel, I was a guest on other people's channel talking about it because I followed that trial closely. So that's how I started off with a trial that was on TV, and then I passed 1,000 with a trial that was on TV. So maybe I just need to cover more trials.
Yeah, no, that Kyle Rittenhouse, that one, I remember that one. Oh my gosh, those were comment sections and panels that just went on and on and on, and it was just like you were either on one side or the other side, right? But it was always so contentious about that, and I thought it was I thought it was an easy case as far as like self-defense and all that was concerned. Like I never thought it was like as close as people made it seem like. But then throwing in all those other elements, it was like, oh my gosh, like that whole trial was crazy, just on itself. Like the prosecutor, how he was acting, the judge, like it was nuts. And then you throw in all the other elements, it's crazy.
In my opinion, it was not a close case at all, but people's ideologies clouded what they were seeing and what they would absorb from that trial. So if you watch the trial just with an unbiased mind, it was a clear case of self-defense. But it was so hyped up in the left-wing media before the trial ever started that people's ideologies were already embedded in their head. They were saying, cross state lines and did this, which none of that turned out to be true. Like he did not cross state lines with a gun. None of that happened. So people were already had made up their mind before it started.
There was a lot of narrative that was pushed out, from left media, from political, leaning channels and stuff like that, where it was there was a lot before anything got out. There was a lot of like already there was basically a lot of judgment already passed, and nobody was really listening to what was like the real evidence. And to be honest, I didn't really know what the real evidence was until the trial came out. Like that guy, what was it, Grosskreutz? What was his name? Gross.
Yep.
That dude, and how that guy was despicable. He's vile. Like how the prosecutor decided to stand behind him. He's dumb. Like
and don't get me wrong, the right-wing media does the exact same thing. They just happen to be correct in this situation, which they're not always correct, but in this situation they were,
Oh no, you see, that's the thing is that like, and this is what I tell my friends, because I did like early like government, like economics and stuff like that when I was in high school, and then when I came out, I was always into that stuff. But you see, I got tired of it early. Like by the time Obama was in his second term, I was done with our two-party system. Like I didn't see Democrats and Republicans. I saw all of them as the same. They all just, bloviate, take a virtual signaling like stanzas, and they always say the same thing, but they never go through with anything that they say. You know, I was just like, I was done with all of that. You know, like, and so I figured, and this is more satisfying for anybody who's done with trying to understand like politics in the nationwide. Work locally, work with things that are local within you, with like things that you can see, that you can change and stuff like that, and you feel much more satisfied than trying to take on the whole nation, because you'll never win. I'm in California. I'm a Democrat, regardless of whether I go, you know, I decide to go independent, whether I decide to go Republican. Doesn't matter. I'm a Democrat, because this state is always gonna vote Democrat. It's gonna beat me out every single time.
Don't think like no, you got to vote your heart.
No. I don't mean that I don't vote. You know, in my. Okay. I'm just saying like in the like I don't have an illusion that you know, like, all of a sudden this state's gonna go red. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about in the presidential election, like in the big election. You know, so that's why I say, like, you know, like, when you focus on the local and you do the things that you want to do it locally, you'll be more satisfied. It's much more satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, I hated Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump so much in his first election that I voted for Gary Johnson. So. Which never had a chance of winning, by the way, but I just could not write either of those people's names down to be president, you know.
Hey, that's what I mean, though. Like, I don't mean like, okay, that don't you know, vote for your guy or whatever. I mean, I me too. I also voted. I think I voted for the independent nominee the last election too. But the thing is that vote for who you want to vote for. The thing is that I just know that when it comes to like the way our system works, you know, until they change the way the Electoral College works, until we figure out a different way of just having a 2-party system, you know.
That's interesting. What do you think is wrong with the Electoral College system?
I don't like the way they finalize everything. I just don't. I understand why they did it. I just think that I just don't think that we should be so far away from our vote. You know what I mean? If you understand what I mean, because it's a system set up so that we don't, you know, like, it was a populist thing. You know what I mean? So that you just don't, like, you don't get like a bunch of people to pick somebody that really doesn't deserve to be there. Mm-hmm. And I get it, but it's just that I don't know. It's just something about the way it's easily canceled out. You get what I mean? You know that the electoral vote, it doesn't really have to go to the populace. Like the Electoral College can choose outside of the populace vote, and to me that's scary. You know, the people should be able to elect who they need to, and so it bothers me. It bothers me that we're still in that system, because I understand why at one point it was that way, but I think that I just think that we're a better nation and we should trust each other more. But then you see what happens with you know, people who get, you know, stuck on narratives and following things like the media. Then, you know, then I start understanding the way it was before. So it's like, in one way I wanted to change because I want to trust the people as the people are, but then in other ways it's like I kind of get it, you know?
Yeah. I believe in the Electoral College because otherwise the cities where they're trying to pass things like bail reform and not keeping people in jail for any reason until their trial, all of these things that put the public safety at risk. So in New York, Chicago, LA, Atlanta, all of Houston, all of the big cities have these huge crime problems. And if we lived in a democracy instead of a constitutional republic, the people that are running these cities that are putting these laws into place would be in charge automatically, no questions asked. So I think the Electoral College is good for checks and balances reasons.
Yeah, like I said, I understand it. I really do. And it's just it gives me pause to think that we've made it this far and we just, you know, like we can't be trusted, huh? still can't be trusted.
Yeah, I don't know about like the electors and all that stuff, but I like the fact that it gives people who live in Montana as much of a say as who's running the country as somebody like you who's in California. You know what I mean?
Right.
Otherwise, Montana and Wyoming and I mean other scarcely populated states, Alaska, would have zero vote at all in who's running the country.
No, yeah, like I said, I get it. I'm not fully against it, but I just don't like I said, the only thing I don't like is how without question things can be neutralized, and how many times has that happened? You know,
Has it happened? I can't
Yeah, that's the
remember an
question.
instance that it's ever happened in the history of it. May, and I might be wrong. I'm not a politics person, but I don't. As far as I know, it hasn't. That hasn't happened.
Well, I know, you know, like I'm not up on the history or whatever, I because I haven't followed it as much, and like I said, at one point I was really exhausted with politics, and not so much our system, more or less the players in it, you know, like
Mhm.
like the politicians themselves, because they just became too much of a, you know, this caricature of what a politician is, you know, platitudes and you know, like tell me what I want to hear, but don't do anything that I want you to do, you know.
Yeah.
So I you know, like I was just done with it at some point, so that's why I kind of like I forgot a couple of things, but I know that a couple of times it's happened because of situations like, you know, like they had the Florida votes. Remember the hanging chads and all that.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was a bunch of like little like history moments where some states couldn't make up their minds. They did recounts, and the electoral college just stepped in and said, you know what, we're not going to make it. We're not going to do another recount. We're just going to go
Well,
with the first result.
that was the Supreme Court that stepped in, wasn't it? Not the
I know that.
I don't remember. I was very young when that happened, so I don't remember exactly what happened.
When the Florida one happened,
Mhm.
it was the electoral college that ended the recounts, but the Supreme Court stepped in because they, you know, like they didn't want to leave it, you know, like on the first, because like if I'm correct, because I don't remember the story all the way, but I think the electoral college went with the first results,
Mhm.
that came in, but the Supreme Court said nah, they didn't want the first results to come in. They wanted the results that came in after certain factors were counted, but they did leave a lot of votes out because of the whole hanging chat thing and everything. The whole thing about the people not filling in the bubbles right or something like that. Yeah,
It seems like Danny in the chat knows a lot about this. I'm wondering, Danny, if you know, has there ever been an instance where the Electoral College voted against what the populace of the state voted for and it swung an election? I really can't think of an instance where that happened, but like I said, I could be wrong. I'm not a politics person. I'm just curious if it's ever been an issue in the past where the Electoral College has swung an election.
I think it has. I can't. It's not a it's a rare occurrence. I think it's only happened like maybe like once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and it comes down to states too. I don't think there's been like the whole situation where like the vice president just straight up like threw away the votes. I don't know if that's the way that works, but because
that's what they wanted on January 6th, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on that, man.
Yeah. That goes to that thing that people always like, you know, like, oh, they do that thing, well, Democrats, and then they say, oh, well, January 6th, and then it's like both sides, I think, are doing a disservice to the country.
Mhm.
One side, they should have not done January 6th, period. You know, like I don't care if they weren't violent or because they were there.
There were people there that were violent. I interviewed somebody on, like, there's an episode on my channel that's about January 6th where I'm talking to somebody who was there, who went to jail for it, who went inside the building, live streamed the whole thing, and went to jail. So, and he says he was there as a journalist, and he still went to jail. It doesn't matter. He shouldn't have walked in those doors, and he admits that he should have never walked in the doors. But
Yeah,
he
you see-
said there were people there that were peaceful. There were people there that were violent. There were cops that were throwing stuff at the crowd. There was people antagonizing people to do what they did. He said every single thing you've heard about January 6th, he saw going on around him. It wasn't one way or the other. And he says that, and he was there, so I trust him, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know that they have the footage of the one with some of the guys that were just
Cool.
walking around and weren't really doing anything, but
Yeah.
then there is footage about some people who were hostile, and I could imagine that there would be, because that I understand, but you see, the thing is that I'm not gonna sit here and lay the blame on Trump as far as like what people decide to do. That would be like me getting upset with a content creator because people are upset that somebody attacked that content creator. You know what I mean? It's like you can't really, you know, like, yeah, he could disavow them or whatever, or he could say this or that, but you know, it really comes down to the people. If they decided to do that, that's them. You know, like I'm passionate about things, but I don't need to go destroying things because I'm passionate about them. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like those people were wrong, and I won't say that they're right. But the other thing too is that, like, I hate that they make a big deal out of that, but they don't make a big deal out of the riots that happened, like, throughout, you know,
they did the same thing in the Tennessee Capitol like a few months ago.
Yeah,
The
exactly,
insurrection,
exactly.
and nobody saw anything. That didn't happen. It was literally the same thing, but at the state level instead of the national level. I just want to point out that Danny in the chat, who I think I need to have on my research team because that was fast, said it.
Yeah,
It happened
I
5
noticed that.
times. John Quincy Adams, Rutherford B. Hayes, Benjamin Harrison, George Bush, W. Bush, and Donald Trump. So it has happened before. 5 times out of, what are we on, 54? What's the number of president are we on right now?
53. No.
I don't remember.
Yeah, 53. It's 53. I think that was 52.
Yeah.
Well, we're close. I know we're close. We're close.
It's 50 something. We've had 50 something elections and it's happened 5 times. So a low percentage, but it happens. So, you know.
45. There you go. We're close.
45. Thank you, Danny. Maybe you need to have her on instead of me. If we're talking politics, you probably should get her on instead of me because I don't know what I'm talking about. Also, the person that I interviewed that was at January 6th is one of my best friends, so I'm a little biased. But like I said, he's a journal. Like he was there as a journalist and just got caught up in making sure he caught the story. He needed to. He sold his footage to the Associated Press. I'm sure you've seen his footage before. It was on all of the major networks. It was on, it was everywhere. They played it at the hearings. They played his footage at the hearings, you know? So.
Oh gosh, that's another thing too. Like all because of COVID and everything, I got stuck watching C-SPAN and, you know, like all those channels where they have the court hearings and the Senate hearings and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That will, if you didn't think, you know, like things were like, you know, weird and like sus, watch one of those hearings and you'll lose your mind.
Yeah.
You're like, these are our senators. These are the people that make law.
Mm-hmm.
These people right here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know. I was kind of like going nuts. I think I have a lot of sympathy for people like who's that senator? Jordan, is it Jordan? Senator Jordan. He's
no
I
idea.
think he's from Texas. I've heard he's probably like one of the most sensible people there. He's a Republican, but he's like one of the most sensible people there. Like he seems like the only person that thinks logically. There's a
Are you
couple
talking
other
about
ones.
the guy with the eye patch?
No.
Oh.
No. He's nuts.
I don't know any. Like I don't know any of these people. Like I know the ones who are like on TV. Like I know Marjorie Taylor Greene. I know like AOC. Like those are the only ones that I know.
Well, AOC is like she's like the social media darling of the Senate. She's always putting up like videos. She did the January 6th video that, oh my gosh, that she was in the.
She wasn't even there. Wasn't she in a different building or something?
Yeah, she's always blowing things up. She's like the drama queen of the Senate.
Yeah, exactly.
Danny. Oh yeah. Well, I mean that's
okay.
that's fun.
So I have a conspiracy theory about that, Danny. So I think that we're on our fourth Biden clone, and if you look at the different Bidens, some of them have like attached earlobes, and some of them don't have attached earlobes, which is not something that can change. And then like the earlier Bidens have these jowls. The earlier versions of Biden have like jowls, and now those have kind of gone away. I firmly believe that the Biden that's in the White House right now is not the same Biden that was in the Senate in the 80s. So it's just my theory.
And you know what? I can explain the earlobes. I can explain it to you right away what the earlobe thing is.
Okay.
Charging ports.
What?
They're charging ports. See,
Oh,
the old Biden had the old charging points with the bigger charger. Now he has the smaller charger that he doesn't. You
Right.
see, eh?
like USB. It's a C cord now
It's
instead
a
of
C cord now. Yeah.
Love that.
And he doesn't have to. He doesn't have a plug-in audio anymore. So you take away two ports, those lobes get a lot smaller.
Yeah, there you go. That's funny.
Yeah, how about Epstein Island? What happened to that? How can we stop talking about that?
Was it just recently they said that the list was going to come out, but I have not seen a list. I haven't really been looking for it either. So
yeah, I bet that's gonna go the way of that laptop. What?
no, all of Hollywood would be arrested if that list came out. So and Washington probably. Like I don't think it'll ever come out.
I don't think so.
Like,
Yeah.
it just I think all of any powerful people in the whole country are probably on that list. Or I bet there's be names on there that you'd be surprised are on there, and then there'll also be names on there.
Probably won't be surprised if they're there.
Maybe. True.
Who was it? The what? I think it was one of the princes or prince or
Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew, yeah, right. He was caught on the plane, or he was friends with Epstein.
Yeah, not only was he friends with Epstein, but after Epstein got arrested and charged and I think found guilty the first time, he still went to New York and stayed at his apartment with he went there and still hung out with him after this isn't like, oh, I didn't know that he was doing this. This is after he was charged the first time.
No. He was just renting. He let him borrow the place. He wasn't there. They weren't there together.
Baloney. Yeah, this is not localized to the United States. This is probably a worldwide list that we have going on right now.
I know. I'm like I do like. I don't want to see the list, but I do want to see the list. Do you get the same thing? Because I
want to see the list. I have no desire not to see the list. I want to see the list, and I want arrests made. Like these are child molesters. These are predators. Every single person needs to be investigated. And now just because they were on the plane or they went to the island does not mean they're guilty of child molestation or being a predator. But if you're on that list, you need to be investigated.
I mean, there has to be. I would think that there should be at least if you're not, you weren't involved in the actual, the actual, molesting or whatever, right? There has to be some sort of charge for not doing nothing, right? Because it's like,
well, there's no way to prove what people knew or what they didn't know,
I don't know. I mean, it seems to me like, how could you not, right? I mean,
well, just like I want people who are criminals in prison or to serve their sentence or whatever, want them to face consequences. I don't want people that have not been proven guilty to be in prison either.
Oh, well, yeah.
So,
yeah, gotcha.
Because you got on an airplane and went to a resort, like somebody invited you to go to an island it was in the Virgin Islands, hey, come to this beach resort with me. It's a private island. And you go there and lay out on the beach and do whatever, drink mojitos. Doesn't mean that you knew what was happening.
Yeah, we got and also you're right. There has to be like some sort of understanding that there's probably some like assistants and people
Oh,
who
yeah.
were like in staff that probably went to those
Yeah.
things, but
Yeah,
they
her
had
name's
this-
Ghislaine Maxwell. That's her name. She's in prison. Honestly, though, if somebody invited me on a private plane to go to a private island in the Virgin Islands, I would have a hard time turning that down. Obviously, if I knew what was going on or whatever, I wouldn't go. But if I didn't know what was happening and somebody's like, hey, I got this friend who's got this private plane and an island in the Virgin Islands, do you want to go down for the weekend? I'd be packing my backpack right now with my bikini and I'd be out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, that makes sense. Like I don't see. I could see going over there like one time and being like, oh yeah, this is nice, but I could do with all the children around
Yeah,
here.
it's weird that all of the staff are scantily clad teenagers. Also, it wasn't like it was like, as far as I know about the case, it wasn't like it was children. It was young women who were under the age of 18 but could have been passing for over 18. It's not like, they were 16, 17-year-olds, maybe even younger, but the older or the further away you get from 16 and 17, the more 16 looks the same as 19. So
It's true, and that's the thing is that like it doesn't make it doesn't make it right, of course.
No.
The thing, but the thing is that like at the same time it's like there's so many factors in that. Like I always think about like, okay, what kind of upbringing did the kids have, stuff like that. Is that grooming after a certain age? Is it just like bribing?
I don't know. I just like to point out that Jam and Jet in the chat says that he owns property. I'm assuming it's a he. Might be a woman. I'm not sure. But they own property in the Dominican Republic. And my next question is, do you also have a private plane? And can I go? Can you invite me?
I've never been to the Dominican Republic.
I have, but just on a cruise ship. So it just went to whatever the little port was that the cruise ship goes to. I don't think I went away from the little resort area. We did. We walked into town in the Dominican Republic. I can't remember where exactly we were there, but yeah, we did. My husband and I did walk into town there.
I don't know.
I was there for 4 hours one time, basically. I was in the Dominican Republic for a few hours once.
Yeah, I only I think the closest I've been to that side, I saw the is it the U.S. Virgin Islands, with Jamaica.
Jamaica's different from the Virgin Islands. I've never been to Jamaica, but I've been to both the U.S. and British Virgin Islands.
But they're in the same area, right? Like they're like in the same part of it.
Yeah.
Because it was like a cruise. It was like a cruise where we went to the Virgin Islands and then we went to. But I slept while everybody was in the Virgin Islands. I was having a tantrum. And so I went to sleep.
You were a kid? Okay.
No, I was like, I think I was like 25. No, I was upset because they wouldn't. It was a buffet thing. Okay, I was really into buffets at that time. And
I mean, who's not? Okay.
It was I was having a fit because they canceled the buffet that we were gonna have, and I was waiting all like the whole day that day. I was like not eating because I wanted to go to the buffet, and I forgot the reason why they canceled it. And I was like all hangry and like upset, and I was all like, man, I wanted my buffet. When we got to the Virgin Islands, everybody was already upset with me because like when you're upset already and you're doing that thing where you're pouting and people are like, it's okay, and they're trying to like coddle you, like, no.
Just freaking order room service. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I just remember everybody was just tired of me at that time. So I said, you guys go to your stupid Virgin Islands. I'm gonna go to the bed and go to sleep.
Yeah, sounds like you maybe had a little too much sun the day before, maybe a little hangry.
I was being a baby. I was
hungover.
being a baby.
Yeah, most of the Caribbean I've seen from a cruise ship. The only place that I went that I actually stayed at was the Bahamas. We went on our honeymoon there, and then my mom
Ooh.
and one of my sisters and I went to Cuba when the embargo was lifted for like 4 days.
I've been wanting to do that. My friend, a couple of neighbors of ours went, and they showed me the pictures of the beaches out there. Like, whoa, that looks nice.
Yeah, Cuba was interesting. The cars they had, like, it was right when the embargo, like it was when Obama lifted the embargo, and the cars there were just amazing. It was like every single car was a classic car.
Well, yeah, it's been a while, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was very interesting, and we hired a tour guide, and you could tell this woman, who, by the way, has since gotten out of Cuba. And I'm friends with her on Instagram, and we still stay in touch. But she was our tour guide in Cuba, and you can tell when she was there giving us the tour, I was asking political type questions, and she was censoring herself, and you could tell by the look on her face what she would say and wouldn't say. And then since she got out of Cuba, she speaks her mind on Instagram. So I'm so happy to see that she's doing well. She's got a daughter, and
That's awesome. No, she was probably like, "Do you know that we got real tyrants over here?"
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I was asking her legit questions about communism and stuff, and she had rehearsed answers for everything, and you could just tell that it was not what she felt inside. Yeah.
That's wow. Yeah, I wish that our politicians would look like that.
Yeah. The other thing that was interesting in Cuba was we went to a museum. It was like in Havana. There's I forget the name of the hotel, but there was tunnels that were dug in for like bunkers almost, and they turned it into a museum. And it was right in Havana, and the history that the Cubans are telling is not the same history that we're telling about like the Cuban Missile Crisis and all that. They got a completely like the opposite of what we say happened. They're saying like the Bay of Pigs, like all of that.
Yeah.
Completely different, which is I found it very interesting, and it makes sense that obviously that country is going to tell their side of the story from their perspective,
Oh yeah.
like the United States is definitely the bad guys in their eyes,
Hey, that's the thing too. Once you get outside the country, you go to go see other countries and stuff like that. Whether you do it, over there in Cuba, or you get a feel for how people see America and stuff like that. And it's cool. I mean, I think it's cool when there's dissenting opinions,
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't know. I think I became a little bit more patriotic, like the first time like that I got into a setting where people were dissing, the United States. And it was like, I'm not really, I'm never really like that, like that dude, give me a little flag, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that day, I don't know, it just felt like, hey, you know what? Chill. Because I got to I went to I forgot what it was, because when I was in my 20s, I used to love taking these bus trips, these cruises and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we took this bus trip that took us up to Canada, and we went to Canada. We met a whole bunch of people from Germany, Europe, you know what I mean? Like it was just a bunch of people, and we were sitting next to these people that were from Argentina, and they were just capping on us like sick.
Yeah.
But I was understanding them, and I was all like, hey, wait a minute, guys.
Well, a lot of people from Argentina emigrated there from Germany after the war, and they were on the opposite side of the United States. During the war.
That makes sense.
So,
yeah, they were there was like a few of them, and my friend that was with me, she had a little it wasn't like a big old American flag shirt. It was like a America First like type of like little like visitors like volunteer shirt that she had for Katrina.
Okay.
And so it was like, like it had the American flag, but it was more about, the Katrina thing, right? So the Argentinian girl was looking at it, was like, and she was saying in Spanish, like, here we go, the Americans, though, they always have to have their flags everywhere, like,
Yeah.
And so, and I'm listening to them, but they couldn't understand them. I could understand them. And I'm like, what? I'm like, hey, it's like, when you, like, if they're talking about your sister or your brother or something, like, it's like, all right, look, I camp on my brother, but you can't, okay? So stop it already.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I don't know enough about your country to make fun of you guys, so you can't make fun of us.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I felt. I was like,
I don't know enough about you to make fun of you, so stop it. You're so insignificant. This should not bother me, but it does.
It started when they started getting a little like like see like they do that thing where they carpet like they carpet bomb everybody like they don't know culture, they always want to throw their flag around and stuff like that It's like, hey, wait a minute, okay? Look, America is diverse, okay? More diverse than Argentina, I'll say.
Probably.
I don't know. I did say that, but I didn't know if it was true or not. I just know that like I told her, look, I'm right here. I hear Spanish and I understand what you're saying. Yeah. And over there's a guy from Belize, and I'm pretty sure he speaks a little Spanish, but he speaks another. I know he speaks another language, right? They have a.
Oh, maybe they do. I've been to Belize as well, and they speak their first language there is English.
There you go. So I was, but what I was trying to make them understand. I was like, look, there's about 4 different like Hispanics there. We got one black guy. We got 2 white girls over there. I was like, look, that's what America is, all right? So get that shit out of your head that we're all, like the Americans that whoever went to go visit you in Argentina, because that's just one representation. That's not all of it,
Here's the thing, though. We're very diverse here, but when people attack us, we can all get on the same page and get on the same team when we need to. After 9/11, you saw it happen where everyone was on the same team and everyone, it doesn't matter, right, left, any of this other stuff. We were all American and we were all together. And I kind of miss that. I like, it sucks that it happened because of the tragedy of 9/11, but it was nice when we were all on the same page, Yeah.
No, it and the thing is that, like, I hate that, it's like all it takes is, like some people, like saying, about this crowd and that crowd, and, like, are you for this crowd? Are you for that crowd? It's just so defeating, It's like, why do we have to do that? Why do we have to do that? We know that we all have, like our own unique ways of thinking, and we all can think critically, and we know what we want in our society. I don't know why we do that to ourselves. I really don't.
Yeah. Are you seeing this story that Danny's saying in the chat? She says, did you hear about the homeless man that pooped on 2 pride flags and wiped his butt with a 3rd, was charged with a hate crime, which is insane to me because the very next, I was thinking this before the very next chat even came up, that it should be constitutionally protected free speech. If you can burn an American flag and step on it and desecrate an American flag, why on earth would we put a pride flag above the American flag? Like, it should be the exact same freedom of speech.
Yeah.
That's insane to me. New York, of course it was New York. I figured it was either New York or California. Had to be one of the two, right?
Yeah, it sucks. It's so mob mentality. I mean, I don't know how it looks in New York, but over here, it's like, what, like, it's something like that, something like Pride or whatever, and you see that happening in front of your eyes, and you think to yourself, like, this is unfair the way they're treating this man, right? So you go up to them and you tell them, hey, you know what? I don't think you guys should do this, right? It's like they will all jump on you, and it's this thing where nobody can just have a discussion. It's like they start screaming. They start screaming, literally screaming. It's like, you're not winning an argument because you're screaming at me. Like, you understand that, right? Like, you could be yelling at the top of your lungs.
they have no argument, and they just call you a racist or call you a sexist or a homophobe. They just call you a name, and then they think they've won the argument, which they've never,
Yeah.
they didn't make any points at all. They just put a label on you, which doesn't apply most of the time. I'm sure there's some people that are racist that are called racists, or homophobic that are called, but for the most part, it's a label that doesn't even fit the person the person is just making a logical argument, but they have nothing to counter it with.
Yeah, and where I've been in these situations where people are like saying, "Oh, you're racist" or whatever, right? I always come at it with this. It's like, look, real racism was when people, if you called me out on being racist, I wasn't going to be the one that was quiet. You were the one that was going to be quiet because racism existed.
Yeah.
The reason why you're screaming at the top of your lungs that you're able to label me that or say that I'm that is because there isn't racism there. There's no real racism happening. If there is, it's in people's hearts, and they're only holding it in because it's not socially acceptable to be racist. And that's the whole point. Like you could say all you want that there's this and that or whatever. It is not socially acceptable anymore. We won't stand for it. Look how people get when there actually is real racism.
Mm-hmm.
It's done. It's. I'm not saying that it's never gonna be in people's minds. I mean, there's people that want to do things that are against our laws that don't do them because they're smart enough not to do them, but it's still in their hearts. Yeah, of course, but it's not socially acceptable. So it just baffles me that like those things still come up, that we still have those discussions when it's like we should be over this stuff, guys. It's
especially
like
in California. California is like where you live is much different than where I live. So, and if you can't be outwardly racist in North Georgia, in rural North Georgia, where I live, you cannot be openly racist without somebody calling you out. Obviously, wherever you're at in California, it's been gone a long time. Like we're usually the last people to get the memo over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the thing is that though, and Poke, you even have to apologize to me because I know where I live. The thing is that like unlike a lot of people, I wanted to change. Like I want to like affect some kind of change where people can like say, we're wrong, we're thinking wrong, and I try really hard. I try to be as patient as I can, and I try to I do my best to try to like not get into that whole back and forth about racism and your side and this side. You know what I mean? Like I do my best to try to just be like, hey, you know what? I'm just a dude who wants to live peacefully. I don't have any real racist, tendencies. I don't look at things, in racial ways. I don't care about race because when I grew up, that's what I was taught. Like my whole life, I was taught that people should look at race, and I didn't. And so I could have sworn I went like a decade of not even thinking about that. Then all of a sudden we got our first black president and everything just went to hell.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was called a racist in the comment section on my channel this past week because I covered that woman with the bicycle in New York.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And apparently I was a racist because I covered it the way I did, but she had receipts, so you know what I mean. Like
no, and then I love. Did you see the sister of the guy came out with supposedly his receipts or whatever, and they just like completely coincide the story that she's saying.
Yeah,
it's like haven't you had enough? Like you haven't had enough. You haven't had enough of being wrong. You got to continue being wrong. And then the thing that I hate the most out of all of that is that no matter what, no matter what the narrative, no matter if she's right and she's already been labeled a Karen, a thief, and a racist.
I hope she gets paid.
I hope she does too, because it was just wrong. They jumped all over her, and that's all you hear. That's all you hear. They still, the story has changed, and they still don't stop calling her a Karen.
I got called a Karen. If you look at I clipped that section and made a separate video out of it. And if you look in the comment section, I got called a Karen. Kit Kat Karen, they called me. I don't know exactly what that means, but I asked the person that called me that I'm like, I don't really like Kit Kats. Can I be a different candy, Karen? Because
why Kit Kat?
I don't know. I have no idea.
That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm trying to reconcile that. Like,
I said, I think I responded to that saying, could I please? I don't really like Kit Kats. Can I be like M&M's Karen or Snickers Karen?
I guess like, and those are those. Like, maybe that person just doesn't know how to insult people. I remember one time I was in a debate and somebody insulted me by calling me an elite. I was all like, what?
Mhm.
I was like, excuse me. I had to go look up the dictionary definition of elite because I was like, I don't think you know what that word means, but
Yeah.
I guess I am insulted.
You obviously used it as a pejorative, so I guess I should be insulted, but
Yeah.
I'm not really. Yeah, it's very hard to insult me because I know who I'm confident in who I am, and I know that I'm not a racist. I know that I'm not a Nazi. I know that I'm not a Karen. So when people call me those things, it does not bother me at all. You know.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It shouldn't be that much of a bother because I always think like just like when like when people call you a racist and stuff like that, it's just like those people who use the N-word egregiously like that. It's like you know that they're using it just to piss you off. You know what I mean? You know that they're using it
Don't
because
get
they
me
want.
wrong. I don't think any word should be off limits for anything or for anybody personally. That's just my take on it. I don't think any word should be off limits.
I think you give it more power when you act like it's so like, oh,
That's what I'm
don't say it.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like they, just like I said, it's difficult to offend me because I know I'm not those things. Like if they didn't give that word so much power, they wouldn't be offended by it either. You know, or it wouldn't be used as a weapon against them if they didn't give it power.
Yeah, but yeah, and the more they're like, oh, you can't say that, you can't say you're policing it, and then it's like, I just hate I hate that like for some reason we became a very sensitive tooth, and I don't know why, I don't know who exposed the nerve, but it's like, it's so like I just like I was done with politics, I was done with all that. Those things, those discussions, and then I got tired of all my little cousins and nephews and nieces when they started going to college because I'm like, oh.
I mean, it's like the great, I don't know if he's great, but Joe Rogan once said the reason why everybody's offended with everything is because it's too easy to get clean water and food, and they've got nothing else to worry about. So now they're worried about like if it was more difficult to have a roof over your head and clean water and food, then people would not have to find something to be offended by or some sort of victimhood something. Because there's nothing else. Like everything else is just like we live in the most advanced time, obviously, where it's the easiest to live day to day. You know, like when people who are on food stamps are also fat, it just goes to show that we're provided for without much effort. You know.
Yeah, I don't. And the food stamp situation, I really hate the imbalance in that. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're, and this is something that's not talked about a lot, but it's something that I'm trying to like actively change, because it's like if you're a male, and say whatever problems you have, you're on food stamps, right? But if you're a single male, you get like something like $200 in food stamps for a month. If you're a male with 3 kids, mm-hmm. it's like 2,500.
Really?
And I don't understand that disparity. Like I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like why is it that because you have kids, you can't? You know what I mean? It's like the guy that's single that okay, I understand. Okay, if you have kids, you should have a little bit more help, but. Mm-hmm. To the tune of like $2,500 in food stamps?
I just can't even imagine spending that much money on food. Like, what are you buying? Are you getting like Wagyu beef? What's that? Like with 3, like I just can't even imagine spending that much money on food.
Yeah, well, you see, like it's too much for one side, and then the poor the dude that's like like that's trying to like trying to help himself or whatever. Like he can't do nothing, like with those $200, it's like nothing over here. Over here, you can spend like $50 on dinner, mm-hmm. and I'm not even talking about something like like lavish. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like something that you make. Like you go to the market, you get like half a chicken and some rice. You know, yeah, that's almost $50 now. Like it's like
That's crazy.
yeah, it's hard. It's hard just to have a regular job and live on your own. And it's just like, you know, the food stamp situation. Oh my gosh! But then you get disparities. Like, you know, like I said, if you're a certain person that lives in a certain area, you're gonna get more. You're gonna get more help than say another person who's not in that area, because supposedly you're supposed to have a better supportive system because the area that you live in is not an area where people don't have family and stuff like that. It's like, what? Like, you know, like you, and these are things that are like really happening, you know. It's upsetting. It's like you lose your mind when you hear those things. It's like everybody should get it equal down the line. There shouldn't be anything different. If you need the help, you need the help. That's it. No?
I'm saying I like Danny in the chat. I think she's my new favorite person.
Oh, don't you take my Danny?
We need to be friends, Danny. We agree on a lot.
Danny's my friend. You stay here, Danny.
All right, I got to get going though because I have a thing that starts at 4:00, and I gotta finish up my script for tomorrow. That's what was on my agenda today, and I ended up being here for like 2 hours instead.
This was fun. I know. This is exactly what I was going for. I wanted to have a long form live today because I just wanted to like hang out. I haven't really hung out or talked to anybody.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, I'm gonna go, and hopefully somebody drops my link in the chat. I'm pretty sure whoever's here is probably already subbed to me. But if you're not, do that. And I have a great show planned for tomorrow. It's crime behind the music. I like 90s music, so it's about a 90s song. It's what's the name of the song? The Way by what's the name of the band? Fastball. The Way by Fastball. It's a great song, and there's an actual crime that happened that song's about that I'm going to cover tomorrow at 4:30 on my channel. See you guys there. Thanks for having me on, Jerry. I appreciate it.
It's always fun, Katie. See you then.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, we went 3 hours of nothing but fun here. Yeah, I mean, I'm good. I'm satisfied. How are you guys doing? I'm good. I got to light a cigarette now. All right. Well, I hope everybody has a nice Memorial Day weekend, and I'll see you guys at Hez's maybe Monday. If I'm not there, I'll see you guys Tuesday probably. But yeah, I see you guys around. Look for me, of course. Always, Professor and I are doing our dailies now. If you guys didn't see the last one that we were on, we had Dummy Kruger on, so that was cool. If you guys want to check that out, yeah. What about tonight? oh, right, and don't forget his snafu show. My bad, Hez. Don't kill me. All right, sorry. Yeah, but go see Snafu today. It's gonna be 5 Eastern, 2:00 West, and other than that, I hope everybody else has a good time. Have fun, guys, and enjoy your barbecues.